You're listening to The Boxing Voice.
It's showtime! Welcome back, boxing fans. Blood is good. Blood is emotion. Too much blood coming out of the eye. Blood is a story, a drama.
Deep gas, blood pouring right into his eye.
Blood is what we want to see in terms of passion.
Blood streaming now from the cut in the eye, nose, his mouth swollen, and he's still calm.
What we want is a bloody good fight tonight. We have Heather, the Heat Hardy. Is this you?
This is me. I think I need to talk to you every night because you make me smile and blush. Oh, yeah.
Never been a lame-o, never been a lame-o. Yeah, I love you tripping. I'm okay.
You're serious? You're serious? And that's the good thing about UK. That's why I can't hate on them guys, man. They love fucking boxing.
Some fighters in England, they all bums.
Did you hear what this idiot just said?
Yo, son, you're gonna get your ass beat by Molina, son.
Are you fucking kidding me? He's overrated.
Do some push-ups for me right now. For the interview? Yes.
Let those gifted hands go. Get out of here, Bert. Go home.
What next?
You want the famous fight for free? You not even honest? You want the famous fight for free?
BoxingVoice.com.
This is why we use the word sensation.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Boxing Voice. I'm joined alongside my good friend, my colleague. Been so long that we hadn't seen each other until yesterday, and we had a great time. We didn't take any pictures, man, but that's because we're work-minded. But without further ado,
You want the title shot at the free? You not even honest? You want the title shot at the free?
well, as always, the beat makes me look bad here. I don't know. He must have went to get son a drink. You know, you gotta keep the whistle wet when you're doing this here show, man. We got the chat opened up for you guys. I hope you guys are in there. Let me go ahead and double check. Oh yeah, they're locked and loaded. Sup to everybody in the chat. We're gonna definitely do that chat room roll call. No gloves to give away, cause just not any big things out there, any big names. But I mean, if you guys want other names, definitely send in your suggestions. Send it to the Boxing Voice at yahoo.com. Any emails that you want to send us in regards to topics for a show, for extra shows as well, not just these pre and post fight shows. If there's certain fights or things that you guys want us to review, let us know. And if there's enough of you that want that reviewed, we will do that. Because of course, without you guys, we're nothing, man. I wanted to kind of ask you guys, like, who if we, and check me out referencing another sport, right? But if we could make a draft pick out of any writers or videographers that are out there that you guys know on any other website, who would that be? Who would you think is a good fit for us, and who should we go out there and get? We gotta start doing our own Al Heyman, because we're taking this seriously. As you see, just from yesterday is indication of that, man. We were all over the map covering the sport, so I hope that you guys definitely went on over to theboxingvoice.com for all the fight recaps from throughout the world, and as well as to the YouTube for all the interviews that we did. We have the reemergence of the Beeb, the Lebanese prince, going at it with Smoger. Now listen, I seen Smoger and I wanted him, and Beeb wanted to interview him, so I let him. But believe me, I know KH, you're out there, you're listening. Believe me, I wanted to hold an axe, and we did axe it off record and Beeb probably would have gotten to it. But what you don't know is that interview kind of was interrupted because the first fight that happened was some 6-rounder or 4-rounder, but the dude knocked him out in the first round, and Smoger had to be called to work. So we never got a chance to, get more time with him. But, as he was walking towards the ring. We were walking with him, so we asked him off record in terms of clinching and holding. And he said that certain things are allowed, but I never got to, get a direct, yes, it's illegal. Yes, that's what they teach us, because the time wasn't there. But, we did get some stuff off with him. So, you should definitely head on over to the Boxing Voice and check that out, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with the Beeb right now. But Beeb, if you're listening, text me, brother. Text me. Let me know what's up. All right. So, of course, I want to thank everybody that continues to support us. Oh, yeah. But before I get on to that, right? Like I said, send me a name. What do you guys think? Like a Steve Kim or Doug Fisher or whatever, whoever you guys think is hot these days. Damn, I still got this hood on. I'm a little nippy. So yeah, of course, we need you guys to help us here and, head on over to theboxingvoice.com and use the sponsors over there that we have and let me know what's going on. Let me see. Let me go in the chat. Hey, chat, could you guys tell me, Beeb is saying that there's some sort of audio issue, but I see that you guys haven't mentioned one thing at all. And, let me check on YouTube what they're saying. No comments on the YouTube yet. Let me see if I refresh this thing. No, everything is okay. It must be Beeb. Must be Beeb. Beeb, get your life together, baby. You're the only one with an issue. But anyway.
Can you hear me now? Because you were out before.
No, Beeb. It was just you. Everybody's been hearing me. I've been asking for feedback because I've seen that we weren't able to see you. But moving forward, thank everybody for heading on over to theboxingvoice.com and, clicking on one of the affiliate sponsors that we have there. Remember, man, your support is what gets me, Beeb, and Sev all at the same fight, able to give you the type of coverage that we did yesterday, and we're showing that we're committed because that type of fight yesterday didn't merit 3 people to cover it, But there was some action. I know I got some phone calls and tweets, and people weren't excited about this weekend and the fights, and they're taking the MV Chu bitter approach, and that's cool, and I understand. So everybody on YouTube, if you're listening, if you're watching, please like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's very important, again, for both our growth and our developmental stage in this here boxing media coverage. But I want everybody to, call in 646-478-3068. Press 1 if you want to talk. We're going to talk some boxing, of course. We're going to jump in right into all the weekend results, starting from Friday night, Telemundo's Friday card, where Daniel Lozano defeating Jonathan Vidal in the 4th round TKO junior bantamweight fight. Now, Beeb, I'll be honest, I stood up. I actually got to watch, I think 2 of the undercards before this damn Lozano fight and passed out. I couldn't make it, so I hope that you did watch it. If not, we at least reported the result.
Let's report the results and move on, brother.
Well, then, Daniel Lozano definitely increases with a win in a 4th round TKO. So, but Saturday, where we were at Foxwoods Resort and Casino, we're going to start, of course, from the bottom up. So, let's talk, I guess, about the kid Kyrone Davis that we were not, viewers were not privy to see, but pretty I guess I can say from everyone that we did see, he caught my eye.
Yeah, definitely had the amateur background. I believe he was a 2-time Golden Gloves champion, if I'm not mistaken, and looked very explosive. And obviously, he's in the developmental stages. We already know that, and we already know he's going to be in there with opponents that are going to build him. But you see things in this kid that you want to see in a young fighter in terms of being technically sound, doing what you got to do, and making short work of a guy that you're supposed to make short work of. He had a bit of dynamic to him. He looked more of a guy that could be a fan-friendly TV fighter. So it's going to be interesting to see, how the fans react to him, how the fans take to him once he is on television. Because if you listen to the interview you did with him, very well spoken as well. Seems like a nice kid. Could be a type of fighter that could get a following behind him. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next with him. Obviously, we're going to be following his career, and hopefully we get another interesting player in the game, another potential star in boxing. I know it's really too soon to tell, but in the early stages, the ingredients are there, it seems.
Yeah, he seemed like a Sean Porter type of guy, but and no knock on Porter, of course, assessing Davis on the level of opposition that he's in with. Okay, he seemed like he had a Sean Porter type of style, but tighter.
A lot more fluid, a lot smoother. A little bit of slickness to his aggression, setting up shots and putting variations of shots together, and not really leaping in off his feet, sliding into position. A lot of subtle movements where sometimes it appears as though Sean Porter is just sheer aggression. This kid has that slick, smooth, criminal type approach, creeping up on his opponent, throwing feints to get in there, still working off jabs and stuff like that, and mixing things up where Porter seems to be a little bit one-dimensional, and this kid seems like he has variation to his game, as I said.
And what he does have, Beeb, I don't know if you notice, he has a little bit of Adrian Broner in him. He had the attitude. He's from Delaware, so clearly, we have to assume that he sparred with some Philadelphia fighters who are known to be tough. But he had some Broner to him with the cockiness. When he did put his man down, the way that he walked off, the way that he kind of, the facial expression that he had, he's definitely entertaining. He hasn't crossed over, clearly because this is the first time we've seen him. But and again, he didn't take the degrading his opponent approach in his cockiness. So I don't want, just because I said he had some Adrian Broner, I don't want you to associate all the bad that Adrian Broner has with this kid.
Well, he had some swag. He had some swag to him.
Definitely.
It was swag. It wasn't cockiness. It was swag.
So yeah, so this kid's a three-time national champion, and a former member of the Team USA. So if you guys see him, take a look at him. He's worth it. He's a 160-pounder, but I do want to ask you this, B, because of course this is your strong suit. 160-pound division is 5'10" and a half small, and I ask only because he says that's his height. I felt that he was short, but I am 6'5", interviewing whatever he may be.
5'10" and a half for that division is perfect, actually. Marvin Hagler was 5'9". I think 5'10" is average for that division. What's Peter Quillen, 6'1"? Gennady Golovkin's about 5'10", so Matthew Macklin 11, Daniel Gale 6 feet. So, but I will say I thought he looked to be about 5'8" by looking at him in the ring. Did you get that type of sense? I think that's what you.
Short. I mean,
yeah, he looked like 5'8". He didn't look tall. Maybe because he's stocky. He looked a little stocky. Maybe that's why he didn't look as tall. But nevertheless, very explosive, and like I said, very dynamic. And that's the type of style that I think fans are gonna like this kid.
And
I just think fans are gonna like this kid.
The thing about this kid being from Delaware has a strong boxing following. If you remember Amir Mansour, that's why he stood in undefeated for so long, and he was able to go to prison for 8 years out of a 10-year sentence and still sell out in Delaware and that Philadelphia area. And Omar Super O Douglas, same thing. He's a kid who's selling out in Delaware, and these are urban black men. So they're building their following. So this kid, he looks like he has some talent. And obviously the nail on the coffin to all the haters is he signed to Al Heyman. And what I would say moving forward before we get to the rest of the card is that everyone that we seen that wasn't televised, matter of fact, every single red corner fighter, and it was about a total of maybe 12, Beeb?
Yeah.
Do you have your bout sheet? Because I threw mine out.
I didn't. I don't have it now, but there was 10 fights on the card. So let's say there was if you include Chad Dawson in the mix, there was at least 8 to 9 Al Heyman fighters on that card.
No. Every red corner was Al Heyman from the bottom to the top.
From top to bottom.
From top to bottom. I just need
not the main event too, though, Nestor.
Yeah, Ramses is, of course, he signed Al Heyman.
Okay, I apologize. I stand corrected. I didn't know he was signed.
I mean, you could definitely confirm that by going to the YouTube channel and checking.
I believe you because I know you follow Al Heyman to a T, and if it's something regarding Al Heyman, I know it's true if you say it.
People, I just don't want people to get. This is called, I guess, investigative journalism. You guys call it fanboyism. I'm on top of what's going on. When you think that this man is going to continue in the path that he has when he used HBO and Showtime to progress his own empire, you're wrong, because why did me and Beeb witness at least, no exaggeration here,
10.
at least
10.
4 or 5 pro debut Al Heyman fighters? Also, Joseph Legale, who already had 2 losses and they're not versus world beaters, he also is now signed to Al Heyman. So he's signing everything under the sun. There's no indication that he's going into this to destroy a sport. He has long-term goals. When you sign pro fighters, you have long-term goals. That's all I'm saying. So moving on, because we're not going to make this into that show. Don't call in here about that. We're not doing that. We're going to give this whole weekend its much-deserved credit. And I think we should just go right into the upset of the night. Probably one of the better fights of the night. Chad Dawson and Tom Carpensey from PA. So shout out to Matt, the producer, who called this one. But, he has a bias, Ohio, Akron, PA, Pittsburgh, what's this guy? Paul Spadafora, Willie Nelson, Yandel Evans bias. But he called it, and Carpensey, he impressed me because he wasn't overly aggressive, and that's what I would have liked to see him do, because he was really hurting Chad at times. And this is one of the fights that I actually got to see live and really look at it, because my laptop was dying, so I went and sat on the floor of press row, and it was actually the best seat in the house where I was sitting at. So I'm uploading videos, but I'm watching this fight, and I'm watching this kid Carpensey really just I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Beeb, help me with that before I continue.
I call him It's actually, you pronounce it Carpensey, but you're not really butchering it too bad. Carpensey, tomato.
Well, we're gonna just go ahead with the All-American Tommy. And
Carpensey's his last name, though.
So Tommy would turn when because Dawson would come in with a 1 or 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2 jab. Like, he was definitely doing the jab thing all night, but that's all that he was doing. While Carpensey was also landing jabs, working to the body at very few too. I hate that he didn't go to the body more, but he was countering the shit out of Dawson. He was countering, and we interviewed them both, and you guys should definitely check that interview out, because Beeb said a beautiful question, and that is what really pissed Dawson off. So if you want to see him curse and get mad, go check out that post-fight interview, bro, because it was hot. And Beeb did it strategically. He can't get mad at Beeb for the question, because he set himself up for that. And it took a guy like Beeb to get it out of him. But that being said, his face didn't look like Tommy's face. And again, what I seen in the ring, I don't have a problem if you scored the fight for Tommy.
This fight, you could take so many different things away from it, and we got to give Carpensi a lot of credit. No question about it. 3 weeks notice, came in there and did what we had to do. Was Chad Dawson injured? The replay visibly shows that he hurt his shoulder in the 3rd round, and he revealed to us that it was an injury that he suffered in training camp that he exacerbated in that 3rd round. So he was somewhat not 100% going in. But then again, that's your fault for taking a fight, going in less than 100%. Because if you're doing that, basically he told me, Ness, that I thought I could beat this guy with one arm. So how could you say you didn't underestimate the guy, but then again, on the other hand, saying that you could beat the guy with one arm? That sounds like you're underestimating him to me, because you're not going to fight anyone else with one arm who you think is of note or has merit. But with all that being said, you could look at this, and say a couple things. Carpensi, strategic, methodical, patient, but he's done this in the past. I've seen him against Cleverly, and he kind of posed a little bit. Now, this can work against maybe a guy like Dawson, who's not overly aggressive, who likes to lay back, who likes to stay on the outside, who likes to be the counterpuncher. But if he's in there with the guy that's going to pick the pace up like a Jean Pascal, a guy who's always darting in and out, a guy who's always really committed to his offense, he has a style. Although he is technically sound, he's solid, he has a style where he could be outworked. Now, I don't want to take anything away from this win tonight, but Chad Dawson is on the decline. He was hurt a little bit. Now, did Carpensi take full advantage of all those things like he said he did and he was going to do? Absolutely. But we have to take this victory and look at it in context, basically, and say, I don't think he beats a Stevenson. I don't even think possibly he beats a Fonfora in a rematch. I don't think he could beat a Campillo. I think that would be a tremendously tough fight for him. Now, will he be competitive in there? Will he hang in there with those fights? Will he make those fights interesting and entertaining? Yes. But based off this performance, I still don't think that Tommy Carpensi can beat a top 10 guy, or not a top 10 guy, a top 5 guy. I rephrase that. I don't think he could beat a top 5 guy. But all in all, great fight to watch, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I said, that was one of the better fights of the night. There were a lot of mismatches. Like we spoke about the untelevised fights, a lot of guys getting, pro debuts or, just those developmental fights. So this was what that was, except it went wrong.
I thought the Alegale fight was very entertaining. I thought it was competitive.
But it shouldn't have been, though. Remember?
No, it shouldn't have been. You're correct. On paper, it was supposed to be a showcase fight for Alegale. But with that being said, we got a surprise there, which is great. And I'm gonna.
Just because you bring him up, just so that everybody know. Also, we got an interview with his new trainer, Mike Stafford, who also trains, of course, Adrian Broner, Rashid Warren, Jamal Herring, Robert Easter, Miguel Silky Smooth. Alegale making a strong comeback. Because he's now being trained, and he's from Florida, so he relocated to Cincinnati. To turn his career around. Now this kid was out for 2 years, so if anybody's seen this fight live and they were, he's a bum because he struggled. Listen, he was off for 2 years, and it wasn't like he was a Shane Mosley and took off for 2 years, or Floyd Mayweather and took off for 2 years, or Margarito, because he never got to that stage. He was always a prospect and took 2 years off and never got to learn. So maybe now he could learn something. Being signed to Al Heyman doesn't hurt. So the was the best fight and should have been the main event. And I think people, said that they didn't like this fight. Vanes Martirosyan defeated Willie Nelson. Let's go back and Tommy Carpensi, not only upset, but it was by decision. over Chad Dawson, for those that, come to us for their results. So again, Vanes Martirosyan defeated Willie Nelson by 10-round unanimous decision. And this fight took place in the junior middleweight division, which is an interesting division. And for Vanes, I don't know how big of a deal this is in terms of both moving him along and financially, because while he looked okay and did what he was supposed to do, he's also signed to a guy that can't get him a Canelo fight.
Well, that's an interesting statement you just made. I know that the Goosens aren't really the power players in boxing, but Canelo is always looking for opponents. If the right situation presents himself, I mean, let's look at it. Claudie's getting a fight with Canelo.
Oh, see, you're mistaken. I'm not talking about Goosen.
I'm sorry. Can you elaborate what you're saying? Because I don't understand fully what you're saying.
The guy that he signed to is Al Heyman, and clearly he can't get a Canelo fight now after everything that happened.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you talk about Martirosyan. Okay. Yeah, I'll apologize again because I didn't know Martirosyan was signed to Al Heyman, so I'm not even really investigating these guys as in depth as you are, and I'll give you credit for that. And I guess that means a lot, knowing the connections of these guys and kind of basing off of what can be done and what can't be done. So, now do you think though that Heyman would do that to Martirosyan? So, in my opinion, and you give me yours, Heyman's a smart guy. Do you think if Heyman realizes that this is the best money fight for his fighter?
Totally agree.
I think he would do it.
Totally agree.
I think he would do it. So I'm not so sure if that would be a stumbling block. I could be wrong, but I know one thing about Al Heyman. If I was a fighter, I would hire him. You know what I'm saying? I would definitely hire him because I know he would get me the best deal possible that would put the most money in my pocket. So if he realizes that this is the best deal, which it is, then I think he would go ahead and make the fight. Now, in terms of Canelo taking the fight, if he's going to fight a Claudio, why wouldn't he fight a Martirosyan? I mean, Martirosyan.
Where do you think this Willie Nelson win places Martirosyan now? Forget about Canelo. Let's talk about the fighters that he could fight. Or let's just talk about the middleweight division in general. Let's just live in a perfect world. Let me pull up the rankings and see who is who and what is what in the junior middleweight division. Of course, what I know
I think
is in there.
I think everybody who can't get a shot at Canelo, the next best thing for them to, or what they would want to do, I would assume, and I would just basically say, if I was a fighter, I'd want the winner of Bundridge and Molina, because that to me would be the easiest route to a title. You know what I'm saying? So that gives you leverage, and it gives Canelo more incentive to want to fight you if you have a belt, because he doesn't even have a belt right now. And I don't think Andre would get a fight with Canelo, because I don't think he has the fan base, number one, and he has an awkward style that Canelo probably wouldn't like to fight. And given the fact that he's a southpaw, so I mean, it would just be a crazy type fight. You know what I'm saying?
It's sad that all roads lead to Canelo.
Exactly. I mean, Canelo is the cash cow at junior middleweight, and Mayweather's the cash cow at welterweight. So those are the two names in boxing, and I think Canelo is starting to surpass Cotto. I'm not saying he has yet, but he's right on the cusp of doing so, because more guys want to fight Canelo than they want to fight Cotto. So I think that would be a very interesting option, and I don't think Bundridge or Molina would be too picky with opponents, because no one's banging down the doors to fight them. They're not really making big money, so I'm sure a network would offer up big money for a fight like that with Martirosyan, because for the simple fact that Martirosyan is very entertaining. Win, lose, or he's got that Armenian backing. He's got a decent fan base. He's a solid fighter. He's been around. And he's always hovered around that top 5 ranking at junior middleweight. So he's a very viable, credible opponent for anyone at junior middleweight. But I would think that may be the route, that Bundridge Molina winner. I think that's going to happen. And you got Mayweather who holds the WBC and the WBA belts hostage. I don't know what the hell he's going to do with those titles. I don't know if they're going to ever strip him. I don't know what's going to go on. I don't know if he's going to intend to defend those belts. But right now you have Molina and you have Andrade as the options, and you have to ask yourself, if you're a manager, would Andrade bring me more money than a Molina or Bundridge would? I think that's a good question. I don't think he would bring more money, and the evidence to that is what he was offered for the Korobov fight. So with all due respect to Andrade, I love Andrade as a fighter, but he's just in a very sticky predicament right now. Plus, he's promoted by Star Boxing, so he doesn't have a big push behind him. So if I'm a fighter, I'd probably go after if I'm a junior middleweight fighter, and if I'm Martirosyan, I'll go after Bundridge Molina winner.
Well, he actually called out Austin Trout, a rematch with Laura. Talk about a fighter's fighter, huh? He's not calling, like he said, obviously Canelo, and that was his last option, but his first choice was Trout, second was Laura, and then he said Canelo. So
yeah, so maybe he wants maybe 1 or 2 fights before getting a title bout. Maybe he wants to continue to progress under
that he wants respect.
Well, he wants to kind of keep progressing and continue to get acclimated to Joe Goossen too. I'm assuming as well, because this was only their second fight together. So you just made a great point, and I forgot about that interview because he did call out Trout and he did call out Lara again, which are both Haymon fighters. So you could see that happen. That I wouldn't be surprised if you saw maybe him against Lara again in a rematch. I don't think Trout would want him right now. Maybe not. Maybe Trout wants another lower level guy after that tough fight he had.
At this point, I honestly think that Martirosyan and Trout need each other. They're on the same level. Trout's been coming off some losses, and he got a win to a guy that dropped him, that he wasn't supposed to drop him, right? Didn't he get dropped on that ESPN fight?
He got dropped twice. So that's what I'm saying. Do you want to go in there with a Martirosyan after that tough outing?
You have to, because at this point, Trout doesn't have the luxury of sticking around and trying to get a big name fight, because you getting dropped and you losing in your last couple of fights.
So he's got to make up that lost ground fast, is what you're saying.
And I think Martirosyan is a fair fight, and one that, the winner moves. This one pissed me off a little bit, because Francis Bartholomew, in my opinion, was really outclassing Salcido throughout this fight, but he couldn't take his man out. And there's a difference between what Rigondeaux does and what this Cuban does. Rigondeaux, he systematically breaks you down. He's not throwing a lot of punches, and when he is, they're very accurate, very, very accurate, precise, and hard punches, and he defeats his man by KO. This guy, Bartholomew, I like him. He says the right things. He has Louis DeCubas in there. Is his manager as well as Al Haymon, but Louis DeCubas is always going to translate either on his own, believe me, because I'm Dominican and I hear the shit that goes on. But the point is, Rancy says the right things. He wants the right people. He wants to fight Garcia. He said that Fortuna shouldn't even let me rephrase that. He said Fortuna wouldn't even want to fight him, that he knows what the Cuban school of boxing is, and he knows what he did to his friends and all this shit. So, he spoke like he sunned Fortuna in the amateurs or something. But the point is, he's not Rigondeaux. This man was punching Salcido all fucking night, and he couldn't get his man out of there. Now, I thought that he had power because he knocked out Mendez, but the bell had rung. So I guess that Mendez truly, in his mind, put his guard down when the bell rung, and his muscles were so fucking relaxed, Beeb, that the little bit of power that Mendez has knocked him clean the fuck out, or he tried to get a disqualification and acted very good and end up getting a knockout loss, which got over, forced into a rematch. But whatever, he got knocked out in our eyes. So that made me think Rancy had this power. Maybe not one punch, but man, you hit this dude all night and you ain't get him out of there. And this dude looked like they found him in an Irish pub. I don't even who was this guy that he fought? His friend?
No, he's been around. He's been around. Fernando Saucedo. He lost to Chris John back in 2010. He's a grizzled veteran. But let me just jump in real quick,
because I don't want anyone thinking that. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to get this off. I don't want anyone thinking I'm disrespecting Saucedo. He was one of those guys that he was punching his own face, telling you, I'm right here, come hit me. And to me, that's a bar fight. So I'm not disrespecting him. He might have done things in the previous past or, made it all the way to a Chris John fight. Look, he done better than me. I'm not a fighter. All I'm saying is I'm not putting my chin out there for nobody to punch it if I'm taking my fucking job seriously. I'm there to entertain if I'm putting my chin out there. And he was getting hit on the fucking chin, and Bartholomew wasn't doing nothing, so that is what upset me. He's not a finisher. He's not a closer.
Well, let me just piggyback off what you said. People can criticize Rigondeaux all they want, but when Rigondeaux hurts somebody, he will try to finish them. This fight last night irritated me for a couple of reasons. Number one, no disrespect to Saucedo, but in terms that he could make his own money, and it was good for him from a financial standpoint. And I don't have a problem with that. The deal you take is the deal you make. That's fine. But I don't think it should have been. I don't think this guy should have got a title shot, number one. And I don't think it should have been the main event of a Showtime card, number two. Number three, Bartholomew was clowning around in there. He wasn't trying to take this guy out. He was having fun. He was going in there with the intent that this was going to be a sparring session for himself. He wanted to get rounds in. That's just what I drew from this performance last night. I did not see any sense of urgency. I did not see a guy looking to impress. I did not see a guy who went after his opponent when he was hurt. He was playing around, smiling, laughing, running around the ring. He would hurt his opponent and then back off. And it was just, to me, I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound very strong, and it's going to sound maybe even controversial to some. He was very disrespectful to the fans and the sport of boxing last night because he should have stopped this kid. He should have stopped him. He hurt him, and then he knocked him down, I think, in the last round, and Smoga rooted a slip, but it was clearly a knockdown. And then after he knocked him down and hurt him, he started jumping around and dancing again. So I'm going to be honest with you. On paper, I was not impressed with this card, but after having watched it live and seeing the fights, I thought it was a decent card overall, with the exception of the main event. It was a decent card. It was a respectable card in terms of entertainment value. Now, on paper, we like to look at these cards beforehand, and we were all shitting on this card. I was bitching about it a little bit myself, so I was guilty myself, and I'm being possibly hypocritical now. Or maybe I'm just being realistic because I was shown something better after seeing it live. But whatever the case may be, he had the opportunity to put the finishing touches, to make his fight the grand finale of a card that wasn't supposed to be good, but ended up turning out to be good. So he took a card that was surging upwards, that was doing well, and he shot it right back down to what the perception was originally. So he had the opportunity to take this card and be the grand finale, and be the encore to a card that overachieved, and he ruined that. And everyone walked out after the second and third round because they were saying, you know what, I'm not gonna stay here for this bullshit. Now, if he went in there and jumped on his, went in there and did what he was supposed to do, people were seeing him playing around in there. He would hurt him, He would hurt Saucedo, and he'd back off, dance around, do the bolo shit. People don't want to see that when they're paying money. They don't want to see that when they're paying money. So I just thought that he ended this card on a sour note for me. I don't know what you thought.
I will say, in his interview with me, and this is why it's important that we're at these fights, to give you guys better information. So I will say that in his interview, he says Styles makes fights, and unfortunately the style of Saucedo resulted in that type of fight. But that just translates to me that the guy that I can't knock out, this is how it's going to look. And I don't know if I would be mad if a person won a unanimous decision by outboxing his opponent, but the fact that, like Beeb, insinuated, the kid was playing. He was playing with it. So I just want
You asked him that question. Excuse me for interrupting. You said to him, it looked like you were playing in there with him. Did you not? Did you not say that?
Yeah, I did.
And I have to ask you, do you think that he couldn't knock Saucedo out, or do you think he didn't want to? What are your thoughts? Because I think he could have pressed a little bit in certain spots, and he could have got him out of there. And if you go back and listen to the telecast, even the announcers were surprised that he wasn't trying to knock him out, seeing how he hurt Saucedo on numerous occasions. Go ahead. What's your opinion on that?
I just don't know, because I try to put myself in the fighter's shoes, and I just don't understand why I would want to go rounds as a champion.
Well,
an active
good point. But we've heard fighters say, "Hey, I wanted to get some rounds in."
Yeah, but again, that would be an inactive fighter. This is a guy who's been fighting at least every 3 to 4 months.
Fair point.
I mean, and not only that, but he's always left a sad taste in our mouth. Isn't this the guy that robbed Arush Osmani in Florida one time?
Yeah, he lost that fight. Yeah, it was a bad decision.
So listen, I'm a hardcore. I don't forget. So don't go in there when you have the opportunity to get a showcase. Danny Salka, fucking hardcore Rances Bartholomew fan from Cuba, living in Miami, and fucking has a Cuban flag tattooed on his arm. Listen, yes, the kid has some skills, but he should have did what he had to do. Rod Salka, Danny Garcia, he did what he had to do. This is a showcase fight, even though it's a mandatory. That was the point. I understand it's a mandatory and he can't help who he fights, but they could have paid this motherfucker some step-aside money if they really wanted to fight somebody. And if you're not going to pay him some step-aside money, then handle your business.
Next question.
Playing, wasting our money.
Next question. Does Showtime invite him back? Or does he go back to ESPN after this performance?
I believe, again, you guys call me a fanboy, but I believe because who he signed to, of course he'll be back.
Fair enough.
Why we have to know.
That's a good answer.
This is why we have to know. It's not about Nez being a fanboy. I'm trying to give you the best fucking coverage possible. Because when I was on the other side of this microphone and I wanted answers, I couldn't get them because nobody wants to fucking give them. They don't have the balls to tell you,
You know what the sad thing about it is, though, too? You won't see him in there with the Mikey Garcia. Even though he called Mikey Garcia out. It's going to be hard to see him in there with a Mikey Garcia because of the Hal Heyman situation.
And Mikey Garcia, he's doing his own Andre Ward thing over here with the litigations.
And the funny part about it is, Mikey Garcia would jump ship in a heartbeat and go to Heyman and go over to Showtime or go over any network other than HBO right now, because he's not happy right now. So he would definitely put himself in a position.
That's the whole reason this is happening. People don't understand that. He signed to Cameron Duncan. He's looking at some of these other paydays. Abner Mares getting $500,000.
Yeah.
Santa Cruz getting $500,000 for nobody, right? Rod Salka getting 135 and Danny getting 700, and he's like, well, wait a fucking minute.
Hey, listen. One thing Heyman is doing, and he's very successful at doing, is he is phasing out Cameron Duncan, who was the other big dog at boxing management. He is phasing him out. I will say that. And you know what else he's doing too? He's got, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's got Louis DeCubas kind of side by side with him, Al Heyman.
Yes,
They're kind of aligned together too. So
Cubas is bringing him all the Hispanic, Cuban,
all the Cubans, everything. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will say this in Cameron Duncan's defense, and again, you see, no fanboyism. Ness giving you both sides. He's got a lot of fighters. He's got Rios. He's got Alvarado. He may not have Alvarado anymore. I'm not sure. You would have to dig a little deeper. I haven't researched that in a while, but he definitely has Rios, Alvarado.
Didn't
Crawford. He's got Crawford. He's got I think he might have Beltran. Yo, Cameron Duncan has quite a few.
Didn't he have?
Well, he had Bradley.
He had Bradley, but didn't he have Kirkland too? And he lost Kirkland. Lost Kirkland.
No. Well, when he had Kirkland with Michael, like Michael Miller's always been in Kirkland's life as the lawyer / manager, all type of things. But anyway, let's bring it back in. That was the card. Rancey's, he could have done better, but he did get the W. Anybody that watch, I want to know, how is it pronounced? And we're gonna go to some callers here. We've ate up enough time. Is it BN Sports or is it Bien Sports? I don't know, but I think it's BN. I'm going to just say this was a beautiful telecast. I mean, these guys are doing a wonderful job. And you see, again, there's no fanboyism with me. Wherever I can get more boxing on my cable television that I don't have to sit in front of a fucking laptop or a desktop or go online with my Apple TV, if I can just flick the channel, I am going to support it. Understand that about me, please, when you take these shots. So this telecast was beautiful, B. Down to the template that was used to show the tell of the tape. Everything, the studio, oh my God, I could only wish you and I were in a studio as beautiful as this one. And they had a guest commentator of Luis Castillo that fought Mayweather and was all in those great fights. So these guys are spending money and they're covering the sport, because not only did they, talk about this fight, but they talk about a little bit of other news in boxing as well, the little segment for him. So shout out to these guys and support these fights. We always tell you the upcoming schedule every show. You need to start tuning in. And look, again, this is what I mean by free. I know a lot of you guys took my words very literal on the NBC thing, right? But what everybody on Twitter, these trolls, that's what I'm going to call them, trolls that are trying to find loopholes in the NBC not being free TV and all this bullshit. Listen to me. When you call your cable company, you telling me that you have to ask for NBC? Because that would be a lie. Because what the cable company does when they pick up their end of the phone is ask you, what package do you want? They don't sell a channel. But if you did say, I want basic cable, where you don't get shit, no DVR, no nothing, just a fucking I don't even know if you get a remote. It's just the antenna that goes into your television. I bet you that ESPN and NBC would be there. And if it's not, when you get a package, for instance, with a HBO, certain channels just come with that shit. You're gonna tell me that did you call into Comcast and say, hey, I want ESPN, or was it always fucking there?
It was always there for basic cable, but I think they do have the lowest tier where you just get like your local channels, and ESPN is not on that. But I will say this. In today's day and age, just about everyone does have ESPN. And I'm going to say something else too. How many people in today's day and age really don't have HBO and Showtime? So I think the world has changed. I think not the world, I should say. Let's keep it in context. I think America has changed, whereas people are spending more on their cable now than they were back in the day. So everyone has purchased a premium cable package, and I'll tell you why. Because premium cable has gotten smart. HBO and Showtime has gotten very, very smart, and I'll just elaborate more on that. You have Boardwalk Empire now. You have Ray Donovan. You have Shameless. They're having these shows that are like series that you would see on regular television, but you don't have commercials. You have it cut and raw with swearing and vulgarity and nudity. So people are buying HBO and Showtime because they're getting more from HBO and Showtime. You're getting Bill Maher now. So in other words, people are feeling that they're getting their money's worth. So there's a justification now for buying these channels. Back when they first came out, I remember people weren't buying them because all they showed was just movies, and people would say, oh, well, they just show the same movies over and over again. But now you have real sports. You have, Inside the NFL. So you're getting a lot more bang for your buck. So you'd be hard-pressed right now to find anyone that really doesn't have at least one or the other or both. So I just think people have changed in what they purchase for cable packages now. You're not going to see too many people that just have basic cable anymore with the local channels, and that's it.
I totally agree with you.
That's just my opinion.
I totally agree with you, and I would say this, just to bring it back home, I didn't know I had beIN Sports, right? So the first beIN Sports production that I watched was the Orlando Toledo fight. Still didn't remember his name, but I know that it's Fight of the Year candidate without a doubt. So when this Johnny Gonzalez fight was up, last week, I got on my little Comcast app and I searched the fight and it came up. I didn't even know that I had this channel. Now, obviously,
what channel is it? What number channel is it? Do you know?
I think it's like there's two, but I haven't found the HD version, but the regular one that I think it's 783 maybe.
I'm gonna look for it because I may have it because I have Comcast like you. I may have it, not even know it myself.
Exactly. Now this is where it gets tricky though. I may or may not have a Spanish package that I included to be able to get Box Azteca as well. So I think so this may be included in my Spanish package or not. I'm not sure. But the point is they did a wonderful, wonderful job. Like the annotations used, the templates, or whatever you wanted, the graphics that they used look just as good as ESPN's and Showtime's and HBO's. It was really nice, and that studio was, I'm telling you, man, damn. Imagine me and the Beeb behind that desk. Oh, that thing was a thing of beauty.
Beeb with a nice hot beverage on his table with the mic on the other side.
Beeb and his hot beverages. Listen, so they don't what I didn't know was that Celestino Caballero was gonna be on the undercard of this fight, and I know.
Wow.
More and more you guys want us to cover the lighter weights, and like I said, 118, even 115. From there I can start looking at. So I watched this 130-pound fight, which I'm not sure if it's 130 or 135. These dudes looked big. Celestino did not look in the best shape of his life, and I think that really that came into play and truly cost him this fight. But this Mexican kid, I'm gonna say his name is Estrella, I think, because we don't even have that in the itinerary. That's how nondescript this fight. This went under the radar, but I'm sure one of our callers will tell us. I believe it was Estrella or something like David Estrella. But the reason that I want to talk about this fight is because this kid is very raw, very raw, but he is jacked up. Like, he got the Canelo, Marquez, that type of Mexican body. He's got some power. He was hitting Celestino with some shots that, I think a better referee would have jumped in and stopped this fight. And I'm not going to lie and say that I believe there was like 8 knockdowns, all Celestino. But I will say that maybe two of those things were like him just completely exhausted, taking a rest is what he was doing. This man kept getting up. Now this fight wasn't the Orlando Toledo fight like the last time. I'm not going to tell you, go watch this fight. because there was 8 knockdowns, I know that you're like, oh, well, I'm going to definitely watch this fight. I don't know if you want to watch it. This was an ugly fucking fight. That Mexican kid had no skills whatsoever, in my opinion. He needs, because his power looks to be so real, because let's get real, you know, Celestino Caballero, because, you know, he's been an up and down fighter, we know, but at the end of the day, a win over him is just as good as Better Beef, or I like to call him the Better Beast, win over Cloud, in my opinion. I think highly of Celestino. I always did. I always felt like he never got his shot, and that's why he really couldn't prove his ability, and the inactivity forced him to take these weird fights in weird countries and get robberies sometimes, and even when on HBO, shit the bed. But that doesn't mean that he wasn't skilled. Last night, I don't know if he looked skilled to me. I mean, he was another Ramses Bartholomew last night. Like, I'm going to win by fucking punching you in the face and hitting you with all these shots, but they're not doing anything. And this dude is still coming forward, and he's beating the shit out of you, and you're like, just landing punches. Like, and I'm not saying, because I know that some people just don't have power and they have to land punches. But all I'm saying is, dude, you got to at least put something in it. Like, he was just placing it like, yeah, look, this one landed, that one landed, yeah, this landed, so I'm scoring points, la, 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 and then getting punched in the fucking face and being flown through the ropes every now and then. This fight was all over the place. Beeb, I know you probably didn't watch this. This was me and my midnight oil run, you know, coming straight from Connecticut. Me and B met up over there like at, I don't know, 5:30, and brother, I uploaded all the videos that I could in Connecticut, and when I got home, I uploaded Josh's videos, and we're gonna touch that on the Glenn Tapia fight. But B, before I get carried away here and into another tangent, did you, I don't know, maybe see this Celestino Caballero fight from last night on BN Sports?
No, I didn't. Now that you kind of tipped me off to BN Sports, I'm going to be looking out for these fights more myself, and I'm going to, as soon as this show's over, I'm going to go see if I have that channel, because it sounds really, really interesting, and I heard nothing but great things about it. Nothing but great things. I think Vic was talking about it before too, wasn't he? Doesn't Vic watch the fights over there? I thought I heard Vic say something about it, but I could be mistaken.
A lighter dude. He likes the lighter fights, and look, and they're putting on fights every Saturday. So please, boxing fans, if you're listening to us in all these hours, watch them. Help them continue to give us boxing. That is my point. Giving it to you, support them. I don't just ask you to support us, right? That's the point. We have to support each other so that our sport remains relevant. The way that Johnny Gonzalez did. Johnny Gonzalez, well, again, this kid Estrella, he defeated, of course, Celestino Caballero. So there you go. So the result for the Johnny Gonzalez Jorge Arce fight, which was the main event. So think about that. They gave you at least 3 names. Are some of these names past their prime, like Arce and Celestino? Maybe. Celestino was like 36 years old, but again, this is a kid that never really got his shot. He was plagued with promoter and managerial issues. He was signed to Samson at one point. He even signed to fight Mikey Garcia like last year, and that fight fell apart. So you can't really blame him for his career. Blame, again, his managerial issues.
Is he still being trained by Jeff Mayweather?
Remember, no, he's not. And remember that this guy also was in that SMS TMT money team, whatever the fucking company name was, 2 years ago when 50 and Mayweather got together. This kid was plagued with managerial issues. And the reason, again, I keep resorting to that, because you call it fanboy, I call it giving you real information. And if he was signed to a proper manager, he'd probably be a different fighter in his career right now. Johnny Gonzalez knocked out Jorge Arce, who looked to be in very good shape. So someone, you know, whenever we finally get to callers, I know we're ranting, but so what? We want to fucking talk tonight. But I don't know. He looked in shape to me. But he's the same old Jorge Arce, and Johnny Gonzalez got a TKO. I don't have much to say about this. I don't know if anybody felt like the other fight was more intriguing to me. I would like to see that Mexican kid Estrella get with a good trainer, and maybe he could be a nice little player at 130. Because again, I think highly of the win. I think highly of his power, according to what I've seen him do to Celestino. Celestino's a pretty durable dude. Again, I know he's inactive, but I was more impressed with that fight. And again, it's an ugly fight, so I'm not recommending that you watch it. But moving on, in Florida, Felix Verdejo, the hopefully next Puerto Rican star. Hopefully, I want this to happen. I'm not overly, I'm not big on this guy at that as much as others. I already have my favorite 130-pound prospect that also seems to be plagued with managerial issues, and we don't get to see him much. And his skills will probably start to decline because of the inactivity. But Joel Diaz is mine, not JoJo, not to be confused with JoJo or Joseph Diaz. No, we're talking Joel Diaz Jr. That's my guy. That's my guy at 130. But he didn't fight last night. Felix Verdejo is the one that fought, and he defeated Sergio Villa in a third-round KO in the lightweight division. Beeb, did you catch this Unimas production?
I saw clips of this. This was a spectacular knockout, and the thing about it was, Arce came up very competitive in the first 2 rounds.
Wait, Arce?
Oh, what fight are you talking about? I thought you were talking about the Arce fight. Did you switch up? Which fight are you talking about right now? Because I was doing something else.
I thought you. I just gave the results of the Arce fight because I thought you said you didn't watch it, because that was 11-round TKO.
Yeah. But he came out.
In the Arce fight, talk about it.
I saw clips of it, and I read about it. And Arce, as you said, was in shape, and he came out good in the first couple rounds, but he just got hit with a great shot, and it just turned everything around. You know what I'm saying? It just turned the fight around. He got hurt a few times, and he just couldn't recover. Now you're talking about the Verdejo fight?
Yes.
Yeah, that was another spectacular knockout. And what was the kid's name he fought? A Mexican kid, Villanueva or something like that?
Yeah.
Villanueva. Now this kid came out strong. He put pressure on Verdejo. Verdejo got a mouse under his eye too. He got hit with a good shot, and he was hurt early. Not to the point where he was in trouble, but Villanueva got his attention. And it would be a competitive fight, but he showed his poison there. He kind of backed off a little bit, created some space, and was able to be a little bit of a counterpuncher, and he sucked Villanueva in, and he landed his own hook, and that was all she wrote. So this was a young kid who didn't lose his cool, who was dealt with pressure early on, who was in there with a tough guy, hard-nosed guy that was pretty durable, but he regathered himself. He made the adjustment, and what you like to see in a young fighter, and he took him out of there. He didn't lose his composure. He didn't break down mentally.
Listen,
so that's a plus.
I'm gonna say, because I know that Gil, one of our writers, Gil Avelas, he feels that I hate Verdejo. I don't hate Verdejo. I think Verdejo is extremely talented. I've watched him train. I think that he's so well spoken. Verdejo is gonna be Tito. He's not gonna be Cotto. Okay, he's gonna be Tito. If he continues in the path that he's going, when he makes it and he becomes a star, he will be the Tito Trinidad Puerto Rican type of star. He won't be the Cotto.
You think so? I mean, he made it good.
Let me explain why. Because I know there's a lot of stories out there with these comparisons, but you have to meet him to know him and to know why I'm saying this and why I'm saying it. He's going to be the type of fighter that sticks around for every autograph and every picture. He's very well spoken. He's learning English. He's educated. He's Christian. He is everything God first. Him and his trainer. I wouldn't be surprised if his trainer's the pastor, okay? But this kid is a very, very nice kid with good talent, super duper speed and combinations. He loves combinations. I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying some people get the carpet rolled out in front of them and others don't. That's all I'm saying, and that's why I'm not jumping on the train right now. Like at this point, it's unfair that, in my opinion, Joel Diaz has gone up the rankings in light speed compared to any other 130 pounder with that resume, and comparing Verdejo's resume to Joel Diaz. Joel Diaz has fought former champions, better veterans, everything. This kid, Verdejo, like I said, red carpet is rolled out in front of him. And I just want to also, I'm sorry, Bieber, I just want to also give an apology to Matt, our producer. He did put the Adrian Estrella fight versus the Celestino Caballero 12-round unanimous decision loss for Caballero in there, but it was in the wrong place. But the point is, his name is Adrian, not David. So if you do want to invest your time to find Adrian, because he's, you know, a healthy-looking Mexican kid that has really good power, but he's raw. That's his name, Adrian Estrella. I'm sorry, go ahead, babe.
I was reading in an article, I think it was a press release, that Verdejo had Felix Trinidad's mom in the locker room, I guess, giving him chicken or something like that after the fight, cooking a dish that she used to cook for her son Felix after weigh-ins to kind of, you know, rehydrate him and replenish him. So imagine that, like having Felix Trinidad's mom come in, you know, after the fight and serving you a meal. Isn't that amazing? That's how much love this guy has in Puerto Rico.
Exactly. Listen. There's a caller that calls into Steve Kim's show every week talking about Verdejo, a Puerto Rican caller every week.
They love him over there, though, man. So you think that that's going to make him big-headed and kind of make him complacent?
No. Tito wasn't big-headed.
All right, just...
Well, look, I'm not going to say what Trinidad was. What I'll say is, in my comparison, what I meant by that is that Trinidad was embraced by all Puerto Ricans. He was loved. Cotto isn't loved. Trinidad was loved and is loved.
Well, Cotto's not very outgoing as a person. He's not a bad person.
I don't care what the reason is. What I'm saying is the comparison I'm making of Verdejo is that he is going to be adored when he becomes a star.
So why is that I'm just confused. Why is that a bad thing that he has all this back? Are you saying that he has a
thing? That's not a bad. I'm saying I think it's unfair for the other fighters, but for Verdejo, it's not his fault. It's the the path that was laid out before him, and he has to take it. And
in other words,
understand they just attack because I don't know why. Like, I understand that there's two sides to everything. It's not Verdejo's fault. All I'm saying is there's other guys out there that've been putting in work.
So in other words,
I don't like when his fans try to, like, oh, Verdejo. Like, yeah, he's good. But if he fights Joel Diaz today, Joel Diaz sleeps that motherfucker.
So in other words, you're saying that the expectations are so lofty right now that maybe they're not warranted. In other words,
I'm just saying he ain't fighting nobody.
Okay.
So people need to, get off the fucking train right now. Like,
right.
And you could be on a train because this is what this sport, being a fan. But don't act like your guy's this world beater when he's not just yet. Like, let's let him develop. I'm giving him the opportunity. But, they be coming at you like, oh, Verdejo could beat anybody in 130-pound division. It's like, what the fuck? Man, he ain't fought nobody yet. But whatever. Moving along to a fight that I want to talk about so much. Glenn Tapia defeating Dante Bondavarez by 4th round TKO. Also on the undercard, Michael Zuski and Jesse Hart. So we're going to touch on all of them. We're going to start backwards. Jesse Hart defeating Robert Acevedo by 4th round KO in the super middleweight division. This kid is 15-0 yesterday. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Josh Grayford. So again, I'm not force feeding you guys this stuff to go to the YouTube channel. If you want to see good work, go to the YouTube channel. That's what I'm saying. Josh did an amazing job interviewing everybody on this card, from the fighters to the managers, and brought us a lot of inside information. And Jesse Hart is a super middleweight that is signed to Top Rank, and he's a black fighter. So, you know, we don't always see that of Top Rank, and it's good to see that. But he's a boxer's boxer as well. But he has a lot of power, and again, he's knocking the guys out that he's supposed to be knocking out, but he's not one of those guys. And again, this is why these interviews and us being at these fights are important, because you get to get that inside information and see, you know, he's not one of these guys, Beeb, that thinks he is ready. He's one of the guys that knows he's kind of and that's another reason. He's with the Julian Williams, Brian Jennings, what's Brian Jennings' trainer name? Oh man,
I don't know his name.
Junior.
I don't know
I'm
his name.
sorry, man. If he's listening, I'm sorry, because but the point is, they got that little team where it's some young, hungry athletes, you know, getting all this tutelage from the guys like Nazim Richardson and Brad Mann, who's the trainer, Julian Williams. They got all these young guys, and they're all self-motivated because of each other, because they're feeding off of each other in the gym. So this kid is a boxer, but he's a puncher. He's knocking guys out. Now again, he hasn't fought anybody, but he's calling out the right people. Badu Jack, J. Leon Love. You know, he's not saying give me Andre Ward or Carl Froch. You know what I'm saying? He wants to work his way up, and he understands what it is to fight on television. And I can respect that both in a boxer and in an entertainer, which is clearly what he wants to be. And he's not, you know, going to entertain you with antics, but he's also not going to be Andre Ward. He's go check out the videos. He's got a great personality, and clearly a guy that we should continue to look at. You know, his manager actually is David Price. I'm gonna have to confirm within the week if it's the same David Price that manages Emmanuel Teller, but he mentioned that his manager is David Price and that he signed a Top Rank, which we knew already clearly because we did his last fight. But pretty good kid. Definitely got a fourth round TKO. Beeb, I know you didn't see this, so I'll just move on to, unless you want to touch on the interviews that Josh did, because again, he brought us closer to this fight, and they were amazing. I don't know if you got to see them yet.
Yeah, I was watching those interviews, and they were excellent interviews, and they were great questions, because, you know, a lot of people don't know about these guys, and by bringing the fans these interviews and asking the right questions, you kind of get a sense for who these guys are as fighters, what they're looking to do, what their goals are. So then when you do see them, you kind of have an understanding of what they're about, because we're giving you their personalities. We're giving you, you know, catching them in situations where they're letting their hair down, so to speak. They're giving you what they really are as people. It's not like they're on a Showtime telecast being interviewed by Jim Gray or something where it has to be formal and professional. We're giving you these guys in their down-to-earth type state, letting you know how they feel. So they're saying whatever they want to say. They say, I want to kick the fuck out of somebody. They're going to say, I want to kick the fuck out of somebody, because they know they can do it on camera, because they're talking to us. Not that we're lower than anyone, but because we're down to earth like they are. And we try to make these guys feel comfortable. Like yesterday I had Chad Dawson swearing like a fucking sailor, because that's how we do it, man. I had Sugar Ray Leonard on the phone talking to me like he knew me for 20 years, because that's how we do it here at the Boxing Voice, man. We want you guys to get the raw, uncut version of these fighters, and we want you to get to know these fighters.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said any better myself. Josh did an excellent job of opening up Glenn Tapia, man. And it's a good interview. You got to go check it out. But his Jesse Hart were just as good. He also did Michael Zuzki, who defeated Robert Ventura by second round, improving his record to like 25-21. Now, again, you know, oh, Ness, this guy's a bum. He hasn't fought anybody. But with these interviews, you get to know about these guys, and he's going to tell you in this interview he wants to fight. You know, maybe Carl Moretti, Bruce Trampler, Bob Arum, they don't think that Zuzki's ready, and that's why he's gone, you know, fighting 25 fights, but he has 21 knockouts. So they're putting him in fights so they can see certain things. But at this point, he hasn't fought anyone yet, but he wants to. He wants to step it up, and he's another guy that's not saying put me in with Pacquiao. He's saying get me out. I'm ready for the top 10, top 15. And I like a guy that wants to gradually move forward because I can respect that more if you fed it more than you telling me you belong, and then when it's time to show me you belong, you fail. It's kind of hard to still pat you on the back, You have to have the right type of personality to get that off. And Michael Zubski strikes me as that type of guy. We've done a lot of coverage on Zubski from the beginning of his career. He's been with Top Rank for a long time. This is another Canadian, so for our Canadian listeners, keep that in mind. We've covered Zubski a lot. He's one of the first guys to do the Google Hangout with us and everything, So Zubski is our guy. We haven't been covering him as much because he changed his phone number, and it's very hard for me to get in touch with him again because I'm on the East. But yeah, Zubski's a good guy. I think his power is definitely real, but I think he's just as good right now as what was that Italian dude that Golden Boy signed, and he started, all he did was like look bad until he fought Porter and lost bad.
That I know the guy you're talking about. Shit, I can't think of his name right now.
He was Paulie Malignaggi's friend. They had a bunch of videos. They wanted a reality series together.
Yeah, I forget his name.
I'm gonna have to look him up.
I know who it is though.
So he's about as good as that kid was back then before the Porter loss. And I mean that because everybody he's fought, he's knocked out, but he hasn't really fought anybody yet. So the guy's name is Phil LaGreco, and I know that he's got a lot of fans. Phil LaGreco. And hey, look, man, and he might be good, but look, he hasn't fought since the Porter fight, which was in 2013, May 18th. His first loss, and he hasn't been back since. So I don't know. And he was getting hurt a lot. He was getting hurt, but he did, knock out Brandon Hoskins in one round, if that means anything to anybody. But Zubski is about on that level, but I think there's more. I will say that so that you Canadian fans don't get disrespected. I think that he is a lot more technically sound, Beeb. He's kind of almost like a seek and destroy type of guy, but he's not reckless. I like Zubski, but I don't know what Bruce Trampler and Moretti see or don't see and why they're not pushing him along. But Zubski did get a second round KO, and he's in the welterweight division, and that's probably the reason. There's some tough guys in that division. But a good fight and a good litmus test would be, and a fight that could be made is a guy that's managed by Stephen Feder, and his name is Lucky Boy Amatoso. He's also a top-ranked fighter. Easy fight to make in the welterweight division, and Zubski could get a name because the last time we seen Amatoso, he was fighting Jesse Vargas, and I think highly of Amatoso. I covered him from the very beginning as well. Beeb, again, I know you didn't see this, but you seen his interview, right? Did you see the interview with Zubski?
Yes. Zubski's, he wants to improve. He wants to climb the ladder. As you said, he's not looking to jump into a big fight right away. He wants to do it in stages. He wants this to be a process, and he wants to develop. So I think wasn't he on a couple top-ranked pay-per-view undercards? Where did I see him?
Listen, they're keeping him busy, and that's what he said. Josh, again, doing an excellent job, said, you've been fighting, when do you want to step up the level of opposition? And he's like, look, this is something that I want to do. I've been begging. I want an opportunity. Give me a top 15. Give me a top 10 guy, but they're not giving them to me. But I'm not mad because Josh's next question was, are you mad with the way that your career is going then? Because you're 25-0 and you haven't gotten to fight anybody and only hardcore fans know you. Oh, man. And Josh, you're excellent, man. He's fucking amazing. That question opened Zubski right up and boom. He spilled the beans and he's like, he wants to move forward, but he understands He's not mad at Top Rank. You know why? Because they're keeping him busy.
Busy, yeah.
They're keeping him with a paycheck. He's fighting very, very frequently, and you know you can't complain because at the same time you're learning.
Now let me ask you this: where did you watch all these fights? Was this on your Apple TV, or how did you watch all these things?
Yeah, Apple TV and Comcast, bro. I'm telling you, we got a lot of the fights, Beeb. You just gotta, you know, you're gonna have to pay. Like my cable bill's something like $200 a month.
What channels do you have? Like, what are these fights on? The Spanish channels? Is that what you're saying?
Some are on Spanish channels. Some are, like I watch SNY. I watch MSG.
I have SNY and MSG. I have every channel.
Watch Unimas. I got Unimas. I got Telemundo. I got Televisa.
Now, is that in the Spanish package? Those channels? Are those channels in the Spanish package?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the Spanish package. That's why I'm missing some of these fights. Okay. So it may be worth it for me to buy the Spanish package, even though I can't understand.
Only $15 a month, and you get all the fucking Spanish channels. So
I'll have to learn how to speak better Spanish though, because I don't understand everything.
You know, and I will say that going back to the BN Sports. Listen, that was the first telecast. I didn't mind, and I was watching it at 7:34 in the morning. The fucking TV, you know, I was eating cereal, so you know the crunching is too loud in my ear. I'm eating Apple Jacks. I hear my own chewing too loud, so I gotta raise the fucking volume, wake my wife up, and the telecast was so good. She wasn't upset. She started watching it with me.
When you eat Apple Jacks, right? Do you put it in one of them big gigantic bowls, or you get like a little bowl? Because when I was a kid, I used to put it like one of those big, serving.
I got a pretty big bowl, and I don't just eat one serving. Like I bring the.
Yeah, you can put like half the box in that motherfucker, right?
I bring the box with me because I don't like my cereal to get soggy. But man, we've chewed it up. Let's see if anybody stuck around. Let's get to some of these callers. 623, you're live. Sorry for the wait, brother, but me and the Beeb hadn't seen each other in like 2 years, and it was a reunion.
No, don't worry about it, Ness. It's all from Arizona. And I want to get out the way. I know you were talking about the Ben channel. The Ben channel, that's an Arabic word. It means Ben. It means between. So when you read it in English, so they're trying to sell it as like you're between the fights because the coverage is so good. So I just want to let you know on that.
Hold on. Wait a minute, because I got to ask you some questions because I need more information. So are you saying that I can get that channel in English? Because if they're Arabic, why would they be doing Spanish?
No. It's just the thing is the channel is from the channel who owns it. The country is Qatar owns it. So they hire other people to get on their channel because no one, Arabic Muslim people, a lot of them don't watch boxing in those countries back in the Middle East. So they hire other people to to host the shows and do the analyst jobs. But that's an Arabic channel, and Ben means between.
But it's spelled B-E-I-N.
Yeah, I know, because they're trying to kind of, feed it off both ways, off English and Arabic, because Arabic means Ben, between. And in English, they're saying, oh, it's B, where you're B-in. You're B-in, you're in the sports. Like you're in the middle.
And it felt that way, I'm telling you. It felt that way. I think that they did an excellent job. I would totally love it if it was in English. I seen that there was other production on the channel that was in English, but not my fucking show, unfortunately. But I would have loved it more in English, but I think they did a really good job. And if you could get that channel. They're going to be doing boxing, and I'm going to tell you what they're going to have next Saturday before we end this podcast.
Yeah. Well, anyway, to get to the fights, I think you guys broke it down pretty well. The Carpentier fight, I'm just going to talk about the things in the end, what they said. Carpentier said he didn't want to push it. Well, I mean, I'm kind of 50-50 on it. You should push it because who knows if you're going to win or not, because I had a tie going into the 10th. And then Chad Dawson says, well, they're trying to get me out the game. I don't know. So when Stephen Farhead was talking to him, Stephen Farhead looked like he was like, get your stuff and just get out the ring, please. I mean,
Farhead was fucking so classic with the faces he was making yesterday during that interview. He was fucking hilarious. He was like, are you kidding me? The faces he was making.
Yeah. It was hilarious, B. For the fights with Willie Nelson, and Francis Bartholomew. One thing bad about Willie Nelson and Marty Rozian, they both got to learn how to throw straight right hand, because Marty Rozian was throwing, just lunging constantly. All Willie Nelson had to do was throw the jab, and I know, Ness, you hate this, but Willie Nelson should have clinched a little bit. Should have clinched a little bit when he was lunging in, and just stuck him with the jab. And then with Bartholomew, he does the same thing. He never throws a straight right hand. He throws looping shots as well. But Willie Nelson, that was the best fight. And all in all, it was okay. I mean, the Bartholomew fight wasn't good. He should have took him out of there. I don't want to hear any excuses. You should have took him out of there. And all in all, it was pretty good. I mean, that's all I got to say, Ness.
All right, brother. Well, thank you for calling in. I will feed off of you. I want to make a quick note that David Price is the same David Price from Emmanuel Taylor and Jesse Hart. I just got notification. Man, I love this show. I love this show. So thank you to you. I don't even want to say your name. I don't know if it would be proper. But we're going to get to some other callers. I will say that Ephraim in Texas says that Channel 426 is beIN Sports in HD. DirecTV. I got a call because I'm not going to continue to watch it not HD. Fuck that. I'm an audio snob, and I am a quality whore. I need 1080p or 1080i at the least. I hate 720, 480, 360. I hate that shit. Give me my fights where I feel like I can lick the sweat off of them if I wanted to.
Oh, God.
Homo, I don't care. I want it to be crystal clear. I paid a lot of money for my television. I paid a lot of money for my cable. Give me the best that you.
Yeah, if you have an HD TV, you might as well get the full functionality of it, right?
I know. It's only fair. Only fair. So, switching things up, shaking it up a little bit. Bradley Chavez is officially set. We've said that for a long time. Not a long time, but at least a week and a half, maybe 10 days at the most. We've been saying this is going to happen. So Bradley will return to the ring, and he's going to be facing the hard contender Diego Chavez of Argentina in a 12-round welterweight fight. 12 rounds, that's odd. No belt on the line, but they're doing 12 rounds. I like that. But I will say I'm really getting tired of Diego Chavez. This is his last chance with me. He has to lose, good, because I'm not picking him. But if he can beat Bradley, which in spots, he showed that maybe he can, but every fight he keeps doing bullshit. Like, all right, not the Thurman fight. He lost that normally, not really too much bullshit, but I'm not happy with I'm still mad with the Rios fight. I don't like the antics, I don't like the scratching, I don't like the biting, everything that they were doing, whatever they were doing. I don't like that. I just want you to fight. That's all I want you to do is fight. Give me a clear winner. Let me be able to assess, should I be wasting my time watching you? Because now I got to watch you again because you're the B-side to the Bradley fight, but I don't know who is going to be coming into the ring. I don't know what Chavez I'm going to get. I don't know if I'm going to get the Chavez that was thoroughly beating Brandon Rios. So if I get that Chavez that can beat Brandon Rios like the way he was from the outside, but not do any of the bullshit, then that means maybe you can beat Bradley. Just maybe. Because Bradley, he's got the whole Ruslan Pavatnikov thing where we know he had brain damage. We know, he had brain issues at the least, and he had to see a specialist all the way in New York City. We know that Nestor interviewed him before he seen that doctor, and the video was on our YouTube channel, and he didn't sound good. And we know that he's just not the same fighter anyway. I'm not saying he's on a decline, but we seen that he's willing to, man, this is going to sound bad, but in my opinion, Beeb, he's willing to sell out for the fans. Like, he did it in the Ruslan fight, and he went for the knockout in the Pacquiao fight, giving himself these wars or losses when he is a boxer and he doesn't want to box because he doesn't want to be unpopular. So, all right, the point is this fight is happening. I guess I'm happy, but I don't know how happy just because of Chavez and the bullshit. What about you, babe?
It's just an interesting fight altogether because Bradley's the type of guy where he's been criticized for using his head and being rough in there too. So you get the sense that if this fight does turn sour, that Bradley's going to give it right back to him. Bradley's not going to be complaining. He's just going to be retaliating. So the thing is does this fight go the distance, not because of knockouts, but does it end in a disqualification again, like Chavez's last fight? Because Bradley is going to frustrate you with the way he gets up on your chest, with the way he kind of leans forward, lunges in a little bit, and sometimes he'll get low and then come up underneath, and you may catch the top of his head underneath your chin. So it's just a very interesting fight, and Bradley does sell out. Will he sell out in this fight for the fans? Because Bradley, for some reason, sometimes has an identity crisis in there, and if he has a case of turning into Sybil in this fight, with the multiple personalities, 1 round boxing, 1 round slugging, 1 round being a football player, we don't know, what Bradley's going to show up, because the only fight that I've seen him recently really sustain a game plan was in the Marquez fight, because in that fight he went in there with the mentality where I just got to win this fight and get on to the next one because I want a Pacquiao rematch. He hasn't shown me that type of discipline in any of his other fights. So I love Bradley as a fighter, but I just don't know what's going on in that head at any particular time when he's in that ring. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what's going to happen because he fights off of emotion. That's the one bad thing about Timothy Bradley that I can say that I've noticed throughout my years watching him is he fights off of emotion. And to be at a top level like a Mayweather, you can't fight off emotion. You have to be able to separate that and just look at this as a job and really go in there with the game plan and really have the mental capacity to carry it out and sustain it for 12 rounds. Can he do that in this fight? I don't know. I still pick him to win, but I'm not so sure if he's gonna look good doing it. I don't know.
Now, I just want to make a note, right? This fight should be titled
We don't know.
because we don't know what Chavez we're going to get and we don't know what Bradley we're going to get. And I also want to make a note that when we ask you for your support and your reviews, it's truly important. Beeb, how long have you been trying to book time to speak to Bradley?
Well, I've texted Monica back and forth a few times, and she had told me that.
How many days ago is my point?
Oh, is that what you want me to? About I want to say 4 days ago, maybe 3 or 4 days ago.
Okay. And they gave this information of it being official to ESPN. So again, in order for us to get that access and be able to get you things earlier, I mean, you could always take.
Well, in defense to Monica, that's probably information that Top Rank just automatically sends out to ESPN and Yahoo Sports and stuff like that. So I don't think it was her actually obviously having anything to do with it. It's basically Top Rank doing that. Maybe Top Rank had told her, hey, we don't want Tim doing any interviews until we have this officially announced. So
maybe
I think Monica's has been a pretty solid contact with me for about 4 or 5 years now. So I won't say that Monica had anything to do with that. I think that's a Top Rank thing at the the upper.
I'm not saying Monica. I'm just saying we didn't get him when we wanted.
Yeah.
Had we got him when we wanted him, we would have been able to break that. But
yeah.
I want to get to some other callers because I know people have been upset. Clearly, dropping on and off because me and Beeb have been long-winded. But sometimes you just want to talk. Sometimes you just want to talk.
Introducing the hard-hitting ringside Robbie.
Hey guys, good information as always. And Beeb, I have the sports package with DirecTV, and I can tell you, late at night, MSG is constantly showing fights when they're not doing baseball or hockey or anything like that. They always have fights on. So whether they're old fights or fights from overseas, every single night you can find a fight on MSG. So I wanted to let you know about that. And God, I wish I could speak Spanish because I would definitely buy the Spanish package and get all those channels. But I don't have the talent for languages. As far as Saturday night's fights, I've got what's left for Chad Dawson. I mean, I congratulate the kid for winning the fight, but if Chad Dawson can't beat a kid like this, what's left for him to do? I mean, what would be the point of him continuing? Matarosian Nelson, that was a decent fight, but you know, it was the best fight on the card in my opinion, and the main event was a total disaster. And for our Scotland friend over there, look, man, it's obvious what your opinion is of what boxing is in 2014, but good Lord, nobody supported you in your argument, so hopefully we don't have to go through the whole 2014 thing all over again. That was a disaster, folks. You know, and I guess now we have the Golovkin fight to look forward to on the 18th. Let's hope that card is more entertaining than this was. It wasn't bad, but man, that main event drug the whole card down. The other two fights weren't bad, but the main event, that should not have been a Showtime main event.
Hey Robbie, let me ask you something. Because you're saying that you feel that a guy, if Dawson can't beat a guy like Tommy, that he should retire. But what does that mean about Andre Ward, where this was Andre Ward's biggest win of his career?
Well, you got to ask yourself about Andre Ward, because ever since he beat Dawson, he hasn't really taken advantage of that. And I mean, that was a momentum thing that he could have taken advantage of, and that's what frustrates me about a guy like Andre Ward. He's spending too much time in the courtroom instead of in the boxing ring. I mean, if you were a proper boxer and you cared about your job, you take a win over a guy like Dawson, and you start making fights and improving yourself. But now I wonder, with Dan Goosson's passing, whether this will change the lawsuit with Ward, because you know Dan Goosson was the one that Ward was having the dispute with. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But he's wasting his career. So you've got to ask yourself questions about both guys now because of the way Chad Dawson has looked.
Yeah, you do. But I don't know why everybody thinks that Dan Goosson passing away means Andre Ward scot-free. Like, what the fuck? It's a legal document. Don't you think that he's gonna have a successor? He's not gonna have a will. Like, he owns a business. Like, people can't believe how weird people are.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Andre Ward is free. Of course, it's a legal document. I'm just wondering if that changes anything.
That doesn't change shit. That doesn't change shit. He still is going to have to settle out or keep going to court. Like, the brothers are. Why would the brothers let go of their brother's last dying fucking wish? Man,
no, I totally agree.
No, I'm not. Robbie, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not getting at you. This is the way that I talk, but you know that.
All right.
Anyway, so let me get back to the results here. We talked about Zulski, and we can't forget to talk about Glenn Tapia, because Glenn Tapia is making his comeback after the Kirkland fight. And again, Josh did an excellent job bringing you closer into the mind of Glenn Tapia and where he's at. He understands that he had to regroup after the Kirkland fight, and he did that. He got back with Freddie Roach, and he's being trained by Freddie Roach. He's traveling to, of course, Los Angeles so that he can train with Roach. He had Marvin, whatever his last name is, Sonoso, in the corner with him. And Glenn Tapia did something good here, because while he was supposed to beat Danteus Bontaveras, he wasn't supposed to knock him out. This guy's a durable dude, and the last time that he's been knocked out, I believe, was on cuts, maybe. And you know, Pat Lynch, another interview that Josh did, which is the manager of Glenn Tapia, he also said that. And Glenn Tapia knocked this dude out in the 4th round. So this is a good comeback fight. Plus, he understands that his next fight shouldn't be a Kirkland fight. He wants to work back up to that. That is the goal. But he understands that he needs more time with Freddie Roach. He truly loves the time that he's gotten with Freddie Roach. He's seen the improvements. He's understanding that he has to be more of a thinker. And if he can change Beeb into some sort of boxer puncher, if his power continues to be as real as it seems, because, you know, we got to respect this win, even though it's over a journeyman, because some journeymen don't get knocked out. And he knocked him out. So we're going to continue to follow Glenn Tapia and hope the best for his career. And I think this was a good win on his comeback trail. This is his 2nd win. The first one was only 1 round. This one is 4 rounds. So obviously he needs more rounds and more time with Freddie Roach. I would like to see the point of his career when he actually gets a fight that Freddie Roach is in the corner that isn't televised. I want Freddie to give just a little bit more attention, but I do understand that he's a busy man with a lot of high-profile fighters. But Beeb, what does this mean to you, this Bondavarez win?
Just another step forward, and just more question marks to be answered for future fights, because apparently they have to regroup, because that's why he's fighting guys like this. You know, I thought he did well against Kirkland early on, but he got hurt. Maybe I don't know if he can change, though. I don't know if he can get better. I think he's a guy that is always going to be aggressive. He's always going to be offense first, and I think there's always going to be defensive opportunities there for people. So he could just be like an Arturo Gatti type fighter. You know what I mean? I don't know if he'll ever be a world champion. I like to watch Tapia, but in terms of him being a top-level fighter, I have my questions.
Oh, my God. Listen, I can't stress it enough that we need all these guests to make accounts and join this chat. I don't even know if a guest could see this chat, but this chat is just as entertaining as this show. Yeah, somebody, and this is a new guy, is this Sean something, I don't even know, Sean Lazar or whatever. But he said Robbie is to Ness, what Ness is to Al Haydn.
Oh my! Now, Beeb, now I was going to totally agree with your assessment on Tapia, because when I seen him in the Kirkland fight, it reminded me of the way Gotti fought. So maybe they're trying to market him that way because that's his style of fighting.
Well, he's not going to last long with that style, I'll tell you that.
No, unfortunately not.
Man, let's so Beeb, also from the Glenn Tapia fight, we were able to bring you guys even more coverage. Again, thanks to all you listeners, everyone that drops a 5-star review, everyone that shares an article, reads an article, retweets, whatever it is that you do in support of the Boxing Voice. We thank you, because of you, we were able to also send not just Josh to the Glenn Tapia fight. We sent the photographer. And Beeb, what did you think of the shots from Craig Matthews, our photographer that covered the fight?
Beautiful, crystal clear, beautiful shots. Action photos that you see professionals get. So this gentleman's definitely a professional. All the photos are posted on the site under his name in articles form. So, you know, they're all tweeted out. Go out there and check them out, because these are high definition, really crisp, clean, clear pictures. And they're right up close, in your face type action shots. So I encourage everyone.
Say that he is 100% a professional. He works.
He is a professional.
He works in Atlantic City. I believe. I don't know. It's a big paper or something. I'm sorry that I don't know that information, Craig.
We'll start tweeting out the company he works with. Or works for. Or I don't even know if he owns the company or what he does.
He is a pro, and again, because of you guys, that's why I constantly thank you. Because of you guys, he is a part of our team. So like I mentioned in the beginning, you know, via email, send us your draft pick, you know. If we had deep pockets somehow, who should we draft pick to be part of this team? Who would make a good fit, man? We want to know. So let's get to some other callers here. We covered Glenn Tapia. We hit some news, and we're gonna get to some more news. But this might be Jersey Sev, who was also there. And I hope this is him. 201, you're live.
This most certainly is me. This is I'm calling with a different number, but you know, the last night was great. The Vanes Martirosyan and Willie Nelson fight was a great fight as expected, and you know, to me, I think Goossen is doing a great job with him because I remember Vanes' fight before this one, and he was against Lozano, and he was throwing like one punch at a time. And he was a totally different fighter. You know, wasn't really moving his head that much. But, you know, last night he was, you know, moving his head, working off the jab, really nice, throwing combinations to the body and head, countering very effectively with more than one punch at a time. He was a totally different fighter, and I can't wait till what I see in this next fight, and as he continues to evolve into a better fighter, because up until this point, I didn't know how much he could improve, but after seeing last night, you know, as Goossen mentioned in my interview with him last night, it was his first real training camp with him, and I can't wait till I see him in the next fight to see how much he improves. And I think he could be right up there with, you know, I'd love to see him against a guy like Canelo or a guy like Kirkland. Kirkland doesn't really fight anymore, but you know what I mean. And as far as like the main event was a freaking joke. I don't know what the hell that was about. Chad Dawson, he didn't look washed up last night. He, you know, his punches were crisp. He was throwing combinations. He was moving around, you know, popping the jab. The other kid, I think he was just underrated by the general public. I don't really know too much about him, but he certainly did not look like a bum to me. And I wouldn't mind seeing him fight a guy like Adonis Stevenson on the Showtime part if he gets another decent win. But Chad Dawson, I think he should continue fighting as long as he continues to dedicate 100%. If he's not going to dedicate 100%, he should retire. But if he still has that hunger, I think he should continue because he didn't look shot. He just lost the fight. That's it. But he definitely didn't look shot, and I don't know. That's it.
Well, Sev, me and Beeb had a conversation, and we asked each other, where does this win place Martirosyan? So where do you think Martirosyan goes from here next?
Well, I can't say because the boxing landscape is so confusing right now, but if everything was all fine and dandy, I would like to see him. Oh man, you know, I think as far as like rankings and what people should view him as, I think it should definitely place him in the top 5 at least, maybe even higher, because we're talking about 154. We got guys like Canelo, we got guys like Laura, we got guys like Trout. You know, he's right up there with any of them right now. I would say so at least.
Well,
what about him fighting Rosado?
Yeah, but Rosato's a middleweight. Martirosyan in my interview last night with Goossen made it clear. Goossen made it clear that he's going to stay at 154, and he could even go down to welterweight for the right fight.
Yeah. He did indicate that Martirosyan just noticed how easy it was to make 154, that they can definitely make 147 for a right fight. But we have Martirosyan, and it's not updated. It gets updated tonight. But right now we have Martirosyan at 9, and we had Willie Nelson at 11. So Martirosyan would he could definitely be in there with guys like Bundridge, Charlo, Ishe, Trout, Andrade, Molina, Laura, and Alvarez as everyone above him and everyone that he deserves to be fighting. But I wouldn't mind a Andy Lee or a James Kirkland. Those types of fights would be nice and fun too. But let me get to some other callers, Sev, man. Anybody that hasn't checked out Sev's interviews, you need to do so. Put it up, Sev, because I was giving everyone else credit and I forgot about you. He opened Joe Goossen up, and like someone already noted in the chat, Joe Goosen respected the shit out of Sev, unlike he does to other interviewers. So shout out to the one in the chat for making that very clear, which is true. 312, you're live. Who's this?
Really good. Was really good, Nash.
What's going on, brother? Talk to me.
Hello?
Yeah,
hey,
there,
well,
Robbie.
Uncle Robbie was good.
Hey, I heard a beep. That's why I said something. Go ahead. Sorry.
What's up? It's King J, man. What's up? Hey, Ness, why you ducking me, son?
Yo, I don't know what you're talking about, King J. I see you and KH having little tweets about me. Listen, I made him one mistake and thought you was him or he was you. I both sound the same anyway. It don't matter.
Hey, yo, that's racist, man. What's up with that? But,
Yo, so tell me,
hey,
because I know that the coalition boys, while they're not saying it in the
hold
chat,
the fuck up.
I know that the coalition boys, you guys didn't like the card last night. I heard MV Chu was calling it shit.
I thought it was decent. I didn't think it was garbage, but it wasn't great either. You know what I'm saying? I mean, fuck it, it is what it is. Anyways, I don't even know why the fuck you guys wasted 20 minutes on Glenn Tapia's bum ass.
What?
That shit's done with, man. Come on, man.
Man, you crazy.
One
loss, and he's
anytime
done.
you get, and look, man, no, anytime you get in there with someone that can box and hit as hard as Kirkland, he's done, man. Come on, man. Leave that jersey.
Glenn Tapia should fight Willie Nelson next.
And that would be a good fight. Man. That would be a good fight. And I listen. I don't see. Look, I was about to call you KH. King J. I don't think like you. I think that one loss doesn't mean shit, especially if you're gonna be training with Freddie Roach and getting that type of sparring. You're gonna be learning.
It doesn't mean shit. One loss don't mean shit, but it depends how you take that loss, my man. This motherfucker took a horrible loss the way he took it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
won, man.
Like, that's a devastating loss. Like that ain't no.
Unfortunately, he's probably gonna lose again, Ness. I mean, to be real.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying that he's not gonna lose, B, but I do hold out hope that he can make some adjustments under the tutelage of Freddie Roach.
I'm not sure, man.
Okay. Well, that's yet to be seen.
I was gonna ask you guys, hey, what's up with that Kirkland shit? I mean, Kirkland took out of the fight against this motherfucker, and they thought he was gonna get the Canelo fight, and I guess that Canelo Claudio fight is almost finalized, right?
Well, I don't know where you heard that Kirkland thought he was getting a Canelo fight. He turned
No, I'm
down
saying, but you know, no, not like I didn't hear it, but everybody thought that's what was gonna happen. That's why he left the Rosado fight. Because supposedly, you know, he maybe had a chance against
we said
Canelo,
that weeks ago. We said that weeks ago. We told you the quotes that Michael Miller said, that he didn't understand why Kirkland pulled out of the fight, that he felt it was a good deal. He felt that $270,000 was a lot of money.
I thought you guys would know some shit like where the fuck is Kirkland going out from this? You know, like I thought that was gonna be a fucking good ass match. I don't know why he pulled out and.
Yeah,
like,
he's just a weirdo. He's just a weirdo, dude. You know that. He's a weirdo. A dude that's very unstable and makes bad decisions.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I thought that was kind of fucking stupid. And that Claudio Canelo fight, that shit is fucking trash, man. That shit is fucking horrible, man.
Damn, you think
I'm not
it's
even
bad?
looking forward to that shit.
You think it's that bad?
Come on, man. Pacquiao beat the fuck out this man for 12 rounds. He just had his forearms up. Like, if he didn't have an interesting fight with Pacquiao, the fuck is gonna have an interesting fight with Canelo, man? Canelo's gonna get his ass out of there, man.
Okay, but what about the fact that was at 147? Now he's 54, and at 154 he was able to drop Anthony Mundine like 6 times.
Yeah, man, but Anthony Mundine, man, he's decent, but he's nothing big, man.
Well, Anthony Mundine fought and beat Daniel Gill, who everybody knows from, of course, the Sylvester fight and the Stern fight and the Golovkin fight. Like, Anthony Mundine ain't a total bum, and no one's ever dropped him 6 times.
Yeah, might have a point there, man, but still, that that ain't no good fight.
Damn, you know, actually, King J, listen to me. Listen to me. I'm trying to sell you the fight so that you can sell it back to me. I was actually gonna make the trip to this shit. If it ain't worth shit, I'm not leaving my fucking house. I was telling Beeb that we should go to this together, didn't I, Beeb?
What? Yeah. Yo.
Hell no, man. You didn't make a trip to well, no, you did go to that Ohio. Man, hell no, I wouldn't make a trip. No fucking Clottey and Canelo, man. Hell no, man.
Yeah, but he's Canelo. He's Canelo. You got to cover one of the biggest draws in the sport if you want to be taken seriously.
Yeah. You're right on that. And I was gonna ask you, did you guys read an article supposedly where Al Heyman is now really pushing for that Pacquiao fight? That supposedly as soon as 2015 starts, they're gonna start he's gonna start putting offers out there for Pacquiao.
I didn't read it, but I hope that it will be on NBC. Listen, can you drop a link in the chat so I can read it?
I'm not in the chat, but I'll put it up on your tweet, on your Twitter. I got it.
Okay.
That supposedly he did an interview and that he's gonna get, I don't know how many dates. I think close to 20 big dates on. I think it's NBC. I don't know where the fuck it's gonna be, but supposedly the negotiations are gonna start.
All right. Well,
I mean, he has to work something, man. Because if not, if he doesn't work something big, a big fight, Canelo could fucking fuck him out of the dates if he wants him, man.
Yo, you imagine, Beeb? Could you imagine one of those 4 NBC Sports networks, not network, NBC dates, Pacquiao Mayweather?
You know, it's so crazy.
Super Bowl type of advertisement in the middle of that shit. Beyonce fucking drinking a Pepsi.
Well, I was thinking this the other day in my head, man. I was like, imagine if NBC says, "Hey, you know what, Floyd? We'll give you like $100 million guarantee if you fight on NBC." How much money would that attract? Like, that would be like a Super Bowl type advertising going on there.
Hell yeah!
Oh my God, would that be huge? Imagine that though. We'll give you $100 million guarantee, and they could fucking do it in a heartbeat, in a blink of an eye.
This is the same people that give like $140 billion for football.
You know what I mean? So imagine that. Hey, Floyd, we'll give you $100 million guarantee to fight Pacquiao on NBC. That would be monumental.
You know, he might pull another bitch ass movie and be like, oh, but if he ain't got these gloves, I can't fight. I ain't taking 100. Fuck that.
Now let me ask you guys something. Though. Now, what would happen to the 24/7 All Access? Obviously they got to tell them to tone it down, right? Or do they do one at all? How do they promote this on?
They got to do something. You see how big this fight is going to be? It's going to be bigger than 24/7, man. It's going to be. Come on, man. This shit is. If this fight happens, man, they're gonna go all out with this fight because everybody's buying that shit.
No, this will break all kinds of records, ratings wise, pay-per-view wise, whatever network they put it on. This thing's gonna shatter records. So,
I just hope that somehow we still get a R-rated All Access. Like, I don't want a watered down NBC, no curses, no women.
Hell
no.
No. I want some fucking Freddie Roach talking mad shit about Mayweather All Access. You know, you ducked the fight for many years, this and that. When you get in the ring, Pacquiao's gonna knock you out. All that shit. I want all that.
I want Freddie Roach talking about, oh, his legs ain't the same. We're going to show you how to beat Mayweather. He's been dodging this fight forever. He's the one made excuses about PEDs. Oh, my God, this is going to be amazing.
Speaking of All Access, how much credibility does that show have left after what happened with Floyd Mayweather in the Nevada State Athletic Commission?
I don't believe Mayweather, though, Beeb. I don't believe Mayweather that it was staged. I believe Mayweather's power is that strong in Nevada that he could just say something like that.
I agree.
Make it as fact.
I agree.
Dude,
that was all smoke screen.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. I wanna bring up something up really quick. I want to give everybody a few minutes to hurry up and get on the YouTube portion of the show. Beeb, can you tweet out a link? Anyway, I'll handle it. I'm gonna go ahead and tweet out from the Boxing Voice the YouTube link, because I want, if you have the ability, I want you to head on over there and view something that I am going to screen share with you. It's a new graphic, and it was done by Dave the Sinister. He's been working on it for a while now, and we're gonna go ahead and do the unveiling of the new Eurobum design, and we would love for you guys to, of course, email us at theboxingvoice@yahoo.com with should we go ahead and put this into production, and of course, again, the artist is Dave. So I hope that you got the link. Wait, no, I didn't tweet it out yet, did I? That's so sad.
Make sure that you tell him to email us at theboxingvoice@yahoo.com, not THA.
You heard him. THEBOXINGVOICE@yahoo.com. Let us know. What do you think? I just tweeted the link, so we're going to give you guys a couple of more seconds. Remember, 646-478-3068. Let's talk some boxing. There's a lot of boxing. Unlike MV Chu, I am a content individual. I like boxing no matter how it is, what it looks like. I'm watching it.
How come MV Chu never calls in on Sundays? How come MV Chu never calls in on Sundays? He only calls in on Thursdays.
Yeah, because he wants to talk about how bad fights are, but he doesn't watch them because he's too busy. So we're going into the unveiling in T-5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Dave Sinister's logo and what he feels we should put on the shirt. I kind of like it, especially blown up like this, being able to look at it big in detail. I'm feeling it. Does this represent the Eurobum for you? I mean, I see the guy got the European shorts on. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I think it's very disrespectful to all my UK brothers.
Oh, God. Here goes Beeb with his love.
Hey, you better tone that shit down, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, I'm not...
Quit hating on my boy MV Chu, man.
Yo, MV Chu, I think he's on, too. Let me see if this is him. Yo, Dutch Bucket, is this you?
That's me.
With the blood of a Scottish warrior coursing through his veins, this man proclaimed,
I fucking love boxing.
You know, with an intro like that, you would figure that you would be like, you know, a Sir Lancelot of boxing, you know?
This kid is a superstar. He is a bona fide superstar, Daddy. Yeah!
Yeah, do
What's up now?
we have to change part of that intro now? Because apparently he doesn't love boxing.
He loves boxing. He hates the BS. He doesn't want to have to come on this show with toilet paper.
Hey, Ringside, man, you better calm that shit down. There's 2 against 2 now. Boxing coalition in this motherfucker. What's up now?
Nez, just before I talk, Nez, I just want to know, will your little mini me interrupt me when I start talking?
Yo, yo, don't be talking about Robbie that way.
No, I'm not going to interrupt you.
Oh, the mini-me! The mini-me!
Man.
Go ahead.
I enjoyed the fights last night, man. I said last week that it was a bad card on paper, but it turned out to be an okay card. I liked the Marosian fight.
Hey, MV Chu, I'm just going to tell you that one of your coalition guys, you know, spoke to me, and they told me that you didn't like this fight.
What fight? The Marosian fight?
The whole card. They said you called it boring. I heard you guys were on a chat last night crying to each other like a bunch of little girls of how boring and bad this fight was. This card.
Nah.
That was just rumors. That was just rumors. That wasn't true.
I don't know, man. I got it from a pretty good source.
A lot of haters out there trying to discredit this man.
You said that the main event was, one of the guys in the main event was an Irish pub fighter.
Well,
so you didn't like it either.
The colors that he had on were Irish colors. I clearly I know that a Fernando Salcido isn't from fucking Ireland. But clearly you didn't watch the fight to see the Irish color shorts, did you?
No, they said he was.
Oh, he wasn't paying attention to that. He wasn't paying attention to the color of the guy's shorts. He was too busy watching the fights.
Yeah, right. How could you watch the fight and not see the shorts?
Oh, he's looking at the upper body.
Okay. Go ahead, MV Chu.
No, it was a good fight, but where's the sexy names? That was my problem. I said after the fact it was a good fight, but I mean, when there's been a big fight recently, that was my point. There's not been many big fights.
You see, and that's the difference between
Why is
you
that
and
negative?
I. That's the difference between you and I. To me, Martirosyan and Nelson is a big is as big as to me as Broner Maidana or Broner Taylor. Clearly, because I drove there, right? Like when top 10 fight top 10, that intrigues me. I don't see how that doesn't intrigue you. Like it makes me happy when if Rancy can now fight Garcia or who I gotta start muting some of you guys. You're breathing heavy here. If Rancy can't he could fight like anybody in the 130 that is top 10, I'm gonna be happy, dude. I'm gonna be happy. This was not a top 30. This was a top 10, and this was a top 10 on technicality because again he was the mandatory, but this is not who we wanted to see him in there with. So when we can see a Nelson versus Vanez or a Vanez versus a Molina or something, I'm happy about that. You are not. That's sad to me. I mean, I bet you the UK guys are happy about Eubank versus Saunders, right? Well, then I don't see why I can't be.
What, Nez, why don't we cut out the middleman here? You're telling people what I'm thinking. Why don't I just tell people what I'm thinking?
Well, you're the one that comes on week after week saying boxing is shit. I'm not putting that in their heads. You're saying it.
If I could begin my sentence, that'd be great.
Okay.
Okay. That's fine.
So you're gonna try to take the bigger man's approach to this week's debate. All right. I'll be quiet. Go ahead.
A lot of classy this guy has. I like this guy.
Now the fight was a good fight, undeniably. But is this the biggest fight in October? This card, it's like an oasis in the desert. And it wasn't even that fucking big an oasis. It's just depressing, man. Well, it was a good fight, don't get me wrong, but I'd like some bigger fights at this time of year, man.
Well, again, there's a lot on the schedule, and there's a lot of fights. You just don't like them. I mean, I can't make you like them.
You have to love November, though. November is a good month, right?
Yeah, of course I like November, but you're putting words in my mouth, Nez. I did like the fight.
But you didn't Thursday.
I don't like the fight on paper, but the fight turned out to be a good fight.
But you're not a hardcore then if you're like, you can't see that there's good matchups.
Yeah, it was a good match, but it's not a sexy matchup, Nez. That's what I'm saying to you. It was like a Friday night card on Showtime. It was like an ESPN.
It was a triple header. It was a triple header with some meaningful fights.
No, man, it was like a Friday night card. I don't care for 3 fights.
I guess I could agree with you that the level of opposition that was spread throughout that card was that of a Friday night. But again, do you prefer that over HBO's alternative of no boxing for 10 weeks? I don't understand how you can be mad with some sort of boxing when the premier network, the guys with all the money, the ones that truly can fix the sport, decide to take a vacation for 10 weeks.
I don't understand how you can be mad that I'm mad.
You're going to shit on the guys that are at least bringing you something.
Man, any fight is a good fight.
Exactly. So respect that.
But I'm saying that it should be better than this. It should be. It was better last year and it was better the year before.
Again, you and I are on different sides of that argument. Beeb, I'm glad that you're here this week. Beeb, I don't know how great your memory is, but maybe you can help me and MV Chu as we spend a little bit of time here. I'm even gonna bring on Robbie and see if he could help. and we're all gonna name fights from this year, 2014, starting from January to now. Okay, Beeb, that were good, because MV2 has it under the impression that we didn't have any good fights in 2014. Could you name a few?
I enjoyed the Bradley Pacquiao fight.
Beeb, is there a way to see all the past fights? Because I can't find it online. Just like a schedule.
Let me put it this way. How many?
Go to 2014 fight schedule. Just Google that. We should be able to get them all.
Well, you try that out. I don't know.
I'm gonna do that right now. Don't worry about it. I'll try that.
But your question was what, MV2? How many classic fights
I liked Provodnikov Algieri. I enjoyed that fight.
And so did I.
Classic though.
I enjoyed Crawford versus Gamboa. I thought that was a very entertaining fight.
And I enjoyed, wasn't Diego Chavez versus Thurman this year?
That was a good fight.
Was that classic though?
Rios versus Thurman was a good fight. I mean, Rios versus Chavez was a good fight. Even
Molina versus Matisse was a good fight.
Beterbiev versus Cloud. Dom Stevens
Hopkins versus
fight. What else?
Do you guys not listening to my question, guys?
What?
What are all these fights classics?
So let me ask you something, MV2. Are you saying that every year besides this year there's been classics? Because you're acting as if that's the case.
No, I'm saying to you, if you listen to what I was saying.
You probably get a classic fight once every 5-10 years. You don't get one every year.
If there's not been many fights, therefore there hasn't been many classics or very good fights.
But
good fights.
There's more fights this year and last year than there's ever been. I don't understand what you're saying. There hasn't been many fights. Beeb just said, and I want you to prove to me that this is the only year that hasn't resulted in a classic. I'm not getting your argument, because unless you can prove to me that every year besides this year has resulted in a classic fight, what are you talking about?
Okay, I phrased that wrong. I'll go back and I'll
you lose the argument, so you phrase it wrong. Okay.
No,
wait a minute. Can I actually fucking say something?
I think what he meant to say. I think what he meant to say was there wasn't any memorable fights this year. Is that what you meant to say?
No,
don't help him, Beeb. Don't help him.
There hasn't been any memorable fights.
So now you wanna jump on Beeb's fucking jock strap and use his words, huh? And I'll still come at you with that statement. There are memorable fights because I remember Chavez versus Thurman. Remember, wasn't Carras Berto this year? Was that this year?
So what?
I'm not sure. I think it was last year. I'll find out.
I'm excited about fucking average fights.
All right, that was last year. Let me bring on my loaded guns, because this guy has the memory.
Can I just say something? Can I actually finish that point I was trying to make before you and Dave keep interrupting me?
Go ahead.
Listen, guys, you need to learn something. Just because you're talking over someone doesn't mean you're winning an argument. If you're going to let someone
He's got B-bitis. He's got B-bitis.
A better quality of argument, you know what I mean? So let me just say that I rephrased that wrong. There has been a lot of fights this year, but a lot of them have been showcase fights.
And so all I'm saying, I'm not cutting you off, MV2. I'm not cutting you off. I'm not cutting you off. What I'm doing is not allowing you to change your statement after you feel that you can't defend your original one. Your original statement was there wasn't any classics fights this year. My rebuttal and counter to that was, well, prove that every year produces a classic fight. Since you can't, you want to change it to memorable. So now when I tell you that there are memorable fights, you call them not high-level fights. I don't know which one is it with you. We're never going to get to a conclusion because you keep changing it.
No, Nez. Okay. It's simple. You're making a big fucking molehill out of nothing. You're putting words in my mouth. One question. Is 2013, the fights in 2013 better? or worse than 2014. That was my point.
So
I say the truth that 2014 has been worse than the year before, and one of the worst years in boxing.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this then. We'll use your same year, 2013, since you want to use it as a barometer. Put that up against some other years in the past. Put it up against 06, 07, 08, 09, 010, 11, 12. Compare it. Is it going to be the best year, or are you calling 2013 the best year in the last 10 years of boxing? No, you're not. So then why is 2013 fucking so important to 2014 in your eyes? Are you, again, I ask you the question. Again, I ask you the question. Are you saying that there isn't any other year that is comparable to 2014?
Well, stop building it up and let me answer the question. Fuck. I'm upset that there's a culture of showcasing coming into the boxing. It's this culture of soft touches, of thinking that Danny Garcia and Rod Shaka is an acceptable headline fight.
The only thing that you can bring up is that fight. You are pathetic, man. That's all you talk about. You talk about it on Twitter. You talking about here. You talk about it on the coalition. That's all you're basing a year on one fucking fight, dude. That's ridiculous.
You've not been listening to me. I'm basing it on last night's fight as well. That main event.
You just said you was entertained. You just said you was entertained.
By fucking Willie Nelson and Vince Martin.
Okay, it was on the card. It was on the card, was it not?
He didn't like the main event, Ness, he said.
Neither did I.
That's underscard.
Neither did I. And fighter should have gave us more. He should have closed it. I mean, we're all entitled to the opinion, and we clearly have the same opinion. You are just bitter for no reason.
You're just making this into a big drama for no reason.
I'm just stating the facts, brother. I'm not the one that says I love boxing and then says boxing is shit.
This year it has been. For the most part.
Again, Beeb, you're the historian here, Beeb. Is there any other year comparable to 2014 in the history of boxing?
I've always said, man,
Can I just, sorry, Beeb, can I just rebuttal that? You know what the problem is here, Ness? You're defending shit. You're trying to make the people
I'm not
see
defending
it as
shit, MV2, because unlike you, I don't believe that 2014 was shit. So I'm not defending shit. I'm defending the fact that this was an okay year. There's a lot of fights. If I can get some help, I bet you we can name at least fucking 20 good fights.
Carl Froch versus
Groves.
Carl Froch Groves, two great fights.
It was a lot of fights, man. It was a lot of fights. You're just a fucking crybaby.
Stavern versus Areola on HBO. That was a very entertaining fight too. I enjoyed that fight.
This year, listen.
Oh, now he likes this year. This guy doesn't even know what side of the track he's on. Now you like this year? I mean, make up your mind.
I think he's frustrated with the fact that there was so many other matchups that could have been made this year that weren't made. And I'm somewhat frustrated with that as well. That there was so many more opportunities, because based off of 2013 being such a good year, this year could have capitalized on the excellence of last year, and it could have just piggybacked off of it, and it didn't. And that was the frustrating thing. And a lot of reasons for fights not happening this year were over little stupid petty things. And I can understand his frustration in that area. So this wasn't a horrible year. And getting back to your point of has there been comparable years to this, I've always said that it's all cyclical. You're going to go through rough spots, rough patches in anything, and boxing is no different than anything else, where you're going to have your string of bad fights every now and then. But at the end of the day, I agree with him in one area. We didn't get every fight we wanted this year. I mean, we're not always going to get every fight we want. But we got a lot of fights this year. We didn't get a lot of fights this year that we wanted. You know what I'm saying? And there is some frustration with me with that. You know what I'm saying? Like then you have Peter Quillen dropping his belt. Then you have Danny Jacobs fighting guys like Gerard Fletcher. It's just things like that are frustrating. And hopefully next year it all changes. I'm being optimistic. I'm going to say hopefully next year it changes, and possibly it will. We'll see what happens. I don't want to be negative. I just have to go with what the evidence suggests that's in front of me. So I don't know. I'm always going to be skeptical, though. I'm always going to be skeptical.
I'll just say I agree with you because you articulated your point very well. You know, I understood what you were saying. MV2 doesn't choose to go at his argument in the manner in which you did. If he says, look, there was some good fights, but XYZ should have been happening and it's not, and that's why I'm mad, I understand. But when you generalize this year, 2014, the entire thing as shit, that's when, of course, there will be a rebuttal. So that was our miscommunication, MV2, and it's okay. We're past it now because Beeb helped you and articulated your point the way that you should have.
Nez, am I online now?
Of course.
Hey, Nez. Fucking hell, man, I forgot my point now. Why are you muting callers, Nez? Why are you not giving callers a chance to articulate themselves instead of fucking talking over the top of them all the time, man?
He's got B-bitis. It's contagious. Vic got it last week. He's got it now. It's contagious.
MV2, and hold on. Didn't you just get muted? Like literally. But wait, didn't you just literally get? Wait a minute. Let me explain, because clearly, you know, I value sound quality. Go back to the playback and hear yourself breathing into the microphone. So I muted you while Beeb finished his statement. I made my closing argument saying that I agree with you because Beeb helped me understand your point because you were not explaining that properly. Then I unmuted you so you can get your final thought. Yet your words of choice are that I'm muting you because I want to silence you, because you want to waste your time making that for 2-3 shows now, you couldn't say what Beeb said in 2 minutes.
Okay, see the next time I'm going to come on the show, I'm going to get a stop clock. And see, I'm going to push that button every time you start a sentence, Nez, and then I'm going to finish it. And I guarantee you sometimes go on for 3 minutes, and the whole time I'm trying to go, Nez, can I talk? Nez. And see, by the time you finish your rant, I forgot what I said.
Well, then that's not my fault.
Case about 4 times
it's not my fault that you got short-term memory.
I have to tell you, MV2. I have to tell you one thing, MV2.
Man, why are we fucking doing this? I'm not joking, mate. Why are we fucking doing this if you're just gonna talk over the fucking top of people all the time, mate? It's just fucking rude.
I gotta say one thing, MV2. This disease that's out there called B-bitis, it's horrible. It's very contagious. A lot of people have it. I've actually taken B-bitis medication in these last couple of weeks, so it's kind of subsided with me. But a lot of these people aren't taking the medication.
I want to give MV2. I want to give MV2. Please, MV2, stop with the crying. Please take this unfiltered, uncut opportunity to say something. Go ahead.
The point I'm trying to make, Ned, is pretty much what Beeb said. It's been a disappointing year, and last week we had a good conversation. You were fair, you let me finish my point, but the point I'm trying to make is this year could have been a whole lot better, and you're trying to say it's perfect when it's not perfect, mate. There's problems behind the scenes, and there's reasons why the fights aren't getting made. Why isn't Keith Furman fighting? When was the last time you seen fucking Keith Furman fight? And on your fucking webpage, 10% of the fans, about 500 of them voted, said that Al Heyman is a good thing for boxing, and yet you come on here and you try to tell everybody that Al Heyman is a good thing for boxing like you did last week.
MV2.
So you're not listening to your fans, and
MV2,
that's great. But
again, you see, I'm glad.
One of that 90%.
I'm glad that you brought it up because you kept talking about it on Twitter, and no matter how many times I tweeted it to you, you clearly can't read fucking English. The poll was put up before the NBC details were put out. Beeb put up the poll when he and I had that very debated show where we both got mad. He put the poll up after that. So stop trying to use those statistics for your argument, because again, that poll was before anyone knew what you found out last show. Do you understand that?
No, the circumstances are the same.
How are
that.
the circumstances the same when you're making a decision based off what you know? Then new information is brought in. Do you know that cases get reopened when there's new evidence?
We'll put the poll up again then. That's what it says.
I don't have to, MV2, because you're the one that wants to draw it out.
Well,
I
will say one thing though. As
I've been saying all show, you call me a fanboy of Al Heyman or a protector or whatever the hell you want to. I don't call it that. I call it letting you know what you didn't fucking know. If Nesta didn't come on here and tell you, you wouldn't know who signed to who, because no one's telling you. No one's telling you. And if you don't know who signed to who, you don't know why the fights aren't happening.
Let me say one thing though. The poll has. The poll. Let me say one thing, Mbichu. Hold on for 1 second, Mbichu. The poll is still up there, and I will say that nobody, after that NBC deal was announced, there wasn't an influx of people saying yes after that. So people are still skeptical about Al Heyman, even with this NBC deal, because we don't know the fights yet. We haven't seen what he's going to do.
Isn't it fair to also tell the listeners that if you've already voted that Al Heyman is bad for boxing, you can't go to fuck back in and change your vote, because
that's a fair point. That is a fair point. But I would think though,
people that were privy to new information and decided to have a change of heart, or at the very least maybe thought about, maybe he's not bad. They don't have the opportunity to change the fucking poll. But MV2, his argument is so trash, and he keeps getting battered week after week, and he's trying to hold on to this fucking poll that has no relevance. It has no relevance because in any court of law, if there's new evidence, you have to submit it to the fucking people. To the people. Nice. That's what I'm doing.
Nice.
That's what I'm doing, but I'm getting attacked for it. Would you rather me not tell you what's going on?
No, you were wrong last year about Al Heyman, weren't you? You were saying everything was amazing, and then the whole of this year you've been criticising it. And then last week, all of a sudden, Al Heyman's back to being brilliant again, just because of one announcement. Even though the months before you were slagging him off.
No, it's not because of one announcement.
Under the bus.
It's not because of one announcement. That one announcement definitely changed things.
I took up too much time yet. I want to let some other callers.
No, you didn't. You didn't take up too much time, and we can stay on. I know Beeb needs to get off at 10, but I want to make sure that you're happy. You feel that I'm censoring you. Let's talk it out. So I will say this. With the news that broke, yes, it changed my opinion. But with going to yesterday's fight and seeing that there was at least 4 to 5 pro debut Al Heyman fighters, plus everyone else on the card, even a guy like Joseph Alegale is signed to Al Heyman, yes, my opinion is definitely changing to positive again, because in my opinion, if it were me, I'm not going to listen. You don't see me taking the boxing voice, the approach with the boxing voice as if it was a hobby, right? I'm doing it full time as if I didn't have another fucking job that I work 40 hours a week. So what I'm saying, if anybody with the mentality of Nesta, who has a fucking business and wants it to progress, they're not going to sign pro debut fighters to then not have a network to put them on. In my opinion, HBO and Showtime are casualties of Al Heyman getting to where he needed to go. You don't understand that. I understand that. Did we have to pay? Yes, but when don't we pay? When? How many times have the Romans fucking been attacked, my friend? Like, wars happen. Just because HBO is HBO doesn't mean nobody has to come at the champion. So what? Because Floyd's undefeated, nobody wants a shot at him? That makes no sense. If Al Heyman wants to take a shot at HBO and Showtime and make his own network, Who gives a fuck? Why are you mad?
Well, in fairness to the whole situation, no matter who's doing what, you're always going to get mismatches regardless. That's how boxing's been. It's how it's always going to be. And it's just the way it is. Now, I still am skeptical on whether or not these NBC fights are going to be entertaining, whether they're going to be competitive fights. I don't know.
But
My thing is this. If Al Heyman could get, say, let's just take Danny Garcia for instance. He's handling Danny Garcia. He wants to get him the best deal possible. Now, if Al Heyman can get Danny Garcia $3 million to fight someone who's not credible, would he put him in there with someone who's a better fighter for less money? So these are the things that I'm looking at in my mind. Like, if he's getting these guys such big dollars to fight guys who aren't great fighters, who aren't great challenges for them, then that's what scares me. Because, again, he's just trying to give these guys the most money for the least risk, and that's what his job is. So I go back to my original point. His job is not really to get me good fights. His job is to make his fighters money. And if in that process I'm going to get shit fights, then I'm not going to be happy as a consumer. That's all I'm saying. I hope I'm wrong. I'm not saying this is going to happen.
I agree.
But I just want to ask you and Beeb this, right? NBC Sports, whatever you've been able to see, MV2, because you're in Scotland. Beeb, I'm pretty sure you've seen everything that they've aired. What is the big deal if we get that level of fight? Didn't she give it to us and you were not upset with Kathy Duva, but now if it's Al Heyman, it's going to be a problem? Because there were some shit fights on that NBC.
Yeah, I thought I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Not all, like Kathy Duva did put on some cards, but I don't think from top to bottom her cards were mismatches. I think she'd give you like maybe 2 or 3 fights. What were those shows, like 2 or 3 fights? And at least one of them was competitive. Like that Vlaskov fight with the hell's his name there? Oh shit, Ademic. That was a pretty good fight. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying that she didn't have entertaining fights. What I'm saying is there were mismatches there.
Yeah. So your point is no matter what, there's going to be mismatches regardless.
Exactly. MVQ, he keeps calling. You see, because my thing is, why are you calling this man Satan, the devil? He's destroying boxing. Who else hasn't put on mismatch? Does Frank Warren not put on mismatch? Does Eddie Hearn not put on mismatch? Does Leon Margolis not put on mismatch? Does Lou DiBella? Does Top Rank? Does Bob Bell? Does Golden Boy? Does Warriors? Does fucking what promoter? What promoter doesn't do this? Who? Tell me.
I'll rephrase that and I'll say, when have you ever seen me defend other promoters? Which promoter do I defend?
You say I love Al Heyman.
Name me a promoter defend.
You say I'm a fanboy and I love him. Well, you hate him, and what's the difference?
I think the culture that he's brought into boxing, basically the showcase fight, the kind of run down the contract fight. I don't see the high standards. I see the standards to cup on. I see his biggest fighter, Floyd Mayweather, not fighting the best. I see one of his fighters, Peter Quillen, not fighting the best. I see Santa Cruz not fighting the best.
Okay. So wait. So Cameron Duncan has Mikey Garcia. Is he fighting the best?
No.
Okay.
He's not fighting. So.
Okay. No. But when he was fighting, was he fighting the best?
I think he was coming up to Salido was a good fight. Salido's better than anyone that Santa Cruz has fought or fucking Quillen's fought.
Okay, but I've been saying that we've been getting good fights. So you said the best. His fighters aren't fighting the best. Who is fighting the best?
Canelo.
Okay. Who else?
Timothy Bradley.
Oh, I don't know, but I'll give you that because that's a whole nother argument that we don't want to get into, but go ahead.
Bernard Hopkins.
Carl Froch, Bernard Hopkins. Okay, who else?
Andre Wood. Used to.
Yeah. He's been inactive too long.
I'd I'd say Manny Pacquiao. One of them.
Pacquiao. Manny
Oh, wait,
Pacquiao.
let's just keep tally here. You said Froch. You said. Could you say that again? I'm gonna bring Robbie on. Robbie, keep a tally here,
Miguel
please.
Provodnikov, he fights the best.
No, it's all on one side.
Start all over so I can add this up.
Start over, MV2.
Pacquiao, Bradley, Hopkins, Hal Froch, Marquez, Cotto,
Salido.
You know, it's sad that neither one of you have said Danny Garcia yet because of one fight. You guys are some fucking asshole faggots.
Ooh, that's very blunt.
You know, Danny Garcia has fought some good names, but he's also fought a fucking washed up Eric Morales and Rod Salka.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you a question, MV2. If you're Danny Garcia and your manager offers you $700,000 to fight Rod Salka, are you going to tell me you're going to say no?
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with us appreciating the product. You know what I mean?
The quality control. James Kirkland can only get $280,000 for fighting Rosado.
Yeah, and he was
Danny Garcia can get that
and he was stupid, and he was stupid for turning that down.
But what MV2 doesn't know, Robbie, what MV2 doesn't know is that Rosado got $60,000 to fight J. Leon Love. So sometimes you have to take a chance. Kirkland doesn't want to. He thinks he's worth more without being active, but you don't say both sides of the story. You just say because Kirkland, he's only getting 270. What about the $1 million that he was offered to fight fucking Canelo, but he wanted $2 million? Fuck Kirkland, because he's dumb.
I'd agree with that actually, but it was just an example of the fucking.
But your examples are always bad ones. Your examples are always bad ones, and that's why I always feel that I win the debate, because you're bringing up bad examples.
How is that a bad example? I'm giving you a better fight, which is getting less money. Fucking 3 times less money.
How many fighters so far that are fighting fighters?
8 that I counted.
And just to keep things in perspective.
No, it's all on HBO. Did you notice that?
I noticed that, MV2, but just to keep things into perspective, let me give you some statistics, okay? Golden Boy has 70-plus fighters, and Top Rank has 80-plus fighters. Al Heyman has 100-plus fighters. And you're talking about 8 fucking fighters. 8!
Fucking eight of the biggest fighters.
8, though! But look at the statistic!
So who on Showtime fights the best?
But MV2, you don't have to break it down. Listen, you don't have to break it down into networks anymore, because we're using the bigger picture. The number of fighters who are fighting top fighters or equally matched fights is what you're talking about. And you're talking about 8 guys out of hundreds and hundreds of fighters. And you're blaming that on one man. You see how dumb your argument is?
How is that a dumb argument when it's the truth?
So Al Heyman is responsible for 99% of the bad fights because only 8 fighters are fighting. He has every fighter in the world. Man, you're a fucking weirdo, man.
Now we have one fighter out there that wants to fight everybody, but people avoid him like the plague, and that's Triple G.
What? He's on HBO, isn't he?
No, but the point is, he wants to fight people, but people don't want to fight him. What do you do about a case like that?
Well, Canelo was one of the Showtime fighters that would fight anyone. He fought Lara and
Let me ask you
then he
this.
went to HBO.
MV2, let me ask you this. If Al Heyman signed Gennady Golovkin before Cotto fought Martinez, do you believe that he would have got him the Martinez fight?
If Martinez was signed to him, yeah.
No. Didn't he get Laura? Hold on. Again, you're going to lose that argument. Didn't he get Laura the Canelo fight? Didn't he get Matisse the Danny fight? Was Golden Boy giving Matisse the Danny fight, or did it happen when he signed to Heyman?
Yeah, and how many big fights has Matisse had since? That's the carrot that he gives the fighters. Oh, I'll get you a big fight with Danny Garcia. Then after that,
okay, but
he just
where is
thrown in the
Gennady
pocket.
Golovkin's carrot?
Exactly, he doesn't have any. He wants to fight Andre Ward.
Okay,
He wants to
and
fight
it's
Charles Potts,
okay. It's okay that
Julio
he didn't.
Cesar Chavez.
But it's okay to you, right? It's okay to you that he didn't get the Sergio fight, but it's also okay that he fights the Danny Garcia carrot type of fighters, right? The Salkas of the world, because who else is he fighting?
Well, Rubio is a lot better than Salka. If they're talking perfect.
It's still not the best. Isn't that your argument? It's still not the best.
Sometimes that's not his fault.
No,
one wants to fight.
his argument, Ness, is he would be happy with the Canelo. He would be happy with Canelo. He'd be happy with Cotto. He'd be happy with Chavez. He'd be happy with Froch. He'd be happy with Ward. Those are the kind of fighters that MV2 would be happy with. But Golovkin can't get those fights because people want to avoid him like the plague. But yet he has no defense for a guy like that. He just wants to complain about fights.
That's what I just said though, ringside. You just said exactly the same thing as me. Then you criticised me for it.
Because I didn't take 5 minutes to make my point.
Neither did I. I took about a minute. You've got
I
a
don't know,
bad
man.
sense of
All
time.
I'm saying is I don't blame one man for anything. It is what it is, brother. I'm going to get to some other callers because I'm going to get out of here. Beeb already dropped off. You know, we... Like I said, I broke night, so I'm going to steam through these callers. 818, you're live. Who's this?
What's up, guys? This is AB.
AB, what up?
So just gonna go over a couple points. Also from the yesterday's fights. Vanes has showed that he's a good top 10, credible guy. He's durable. I think he'll give Canelo problems for a couple rounds, but I see Canelo probably stopping him. I don't think Vanes can keep up with the pressure that Canelo will bring to him. Carpensy, I think he won the fight against Dawson. I think Dawson is shot, but I think Carpensy did win that fight. One thing I do want to talk about, and I don't know if you talked about this. I know you interviewed this guy, okay? But what's up with Andrade now ducking Korobov? That's just disgusting now. Come on now.
I don't really understand why people are calling it a duck. If Peter Quillen was getting $1.4 million to fight Matt Korobov and they're not offering Andrade nothing near that, why should he jump up and wait and go fight a dude for what? When he's already a champion. Why would you guys call that a duck, man? When any other fighter moves up in weight, aren't they moving up in weight for something good? When Rosado moved up to 160 to fight Golovkin, it was for something good. When
this is for something good. It's for a title. It's for the WBO title.
But he already has that, though. He already has that. He already is the WBO champion.
Right, but basically, here's the difference. The way that I see it, it was actually an offer that was set up. It was made already, where like Golovkin going to face Ward. There's no offer on the table. There's no okay, guys, here it is. Here's the first bid. We're ready to go. It's just talk. You know what I mean? It's like Twitter talk, where this is an actual offer that was made. Everything was lined up. Okay, here's the thing. If Korobov had 10 losses, okay, and struggled with guys that were in the top 10, you think Andrade
I don't think. Listen,
would
I'm
say
sorry.
no?
I'm sorry, AB. I got to cut you off. I really got to tell you to just go listen to the interview that I did with him. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not conceited. My interviews are just hotter. And if you go listen to him, he's going to say, we'll fight Mark Korobov right now. All they got to do is pay me for it. I'm not going to jump up and wait and fight a dude if they're not even paying me half of what Peter Quillen was supposed to get for it.
Yeah, but Andrade's not a draw, though. He's not like this guy that sells
But he
out,
doesn't. But you're not getting the point, my friend. You're not getting the point. You're still forcing a champion, a legitimate champion, because he's not a paper champion. You're still forcing a legitimate champion to move up in weight and fight for a vacant title because you're gonna call it a duck. even though they're not giving him the money. When anybody else, for instance, Cornelius Bundridge, he wasn't, when he won that IBF title and he defended it versus Corey Spinks, he signed the Golden Boy. He wanted the Canelo fight, and he got paid very good for the Ishe Smith fight. He wouldn't take the Rosado fight. He wouldn't take any other fight. He forced Golden Boy to pay him good for the Ishe Smith fight. He lost. Ishe Smith then had the belt, right? And he also got paid very heavily. So why is Andrade, who's a champion, not get the opportunity to get paid like a champion? You're just being mean. You're being mean.
Well, I'm just
the
saying
goal.
that the way that
Listen,
things work
hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, because you're not understanding. Listen, hold on, brother, because you don't understand the politics of boxing. And the reason that a fighter gets a belt is so they can get more money. That's the reason.
No, I know that, but I'm saying just because you have a belt doesn't mean that you deserve $1.4 million.
Okay, but
By the way.
But if again, the reason that this conversation is pointless is because obviously you haven't heard the interview, and he says I don't need $1 million. I don't need 1.4, but I deserve more than what they're offering me. Clearly, it was a bad offer. How many times have you not seen that? Why are you calling him a duck when this dude has been fighting real dudes, and this dude has been calling out real guys, and they're ignoring him? He's a good fighter. I don't even know why you would say he's ducking anybody.
Okay, all right, here's the thing. Look. If Korobov had 10 losses, okay, all right, would you say Andrade would say, no, I don't want to go up to one? All I'm saying is Korobov is a legitimate, dangerous fighter that Andrade doesn't want to take the risk to go up and then, make a name, make an even bigger statement for himself, because great fighters make history and they capture the moment. So I'm just saying that it's risky. He doesn't want to take that risk, like you're saying, because he sees Korobov as a threat.
Listen,
right?
again, Gabriel Rosado got like $375,000 to fight Golovkin. People don't jump up and wait. People don't become opponents for free, man. It doesn't happen. You only look.
But he's still getting paid, though,
perfect
right?
example. Perfect example. Andrade decided against taking the fight. Andy Lee, who last fight knocked somebody out at 154, but before that was at 160, is now going to move back to 160. So he's already fucking up his body going up and down because he's willing to go up because it's a world title shot. He is not a champion. Andrade's already a champion, dude. I can't even understand that you don't even understand that. Like, calling him a duck, that's
no, I get what you're saying.
No, that's
here's the
disrespectful, man.
Right.
That's disrespectful calling him a duck. That's crazy.
Well, he had an opportunity and he chose not to go. That's all I'm saying. So, all right, maybe I kind of agree with you there. It's not like a Quillen duck because they're not in the same weight class. But I'm just saying, like, if Korobov was not like the fighter that he is, and he had 10 losses, Andrade would jump at the opportunity to win another title because you make a bigger name for yourself, right? If Andrade beats Korobov, he has a potential to make more money down the road now.
In my opinion, I just don't know, how anybody could call anybody a duck who's already a champion, and Korobov hasn't showed us anything for you to say people are ducking him. You're going to talk to me about his amateur record? So what? Lucian Boutte had an amateur record. Let the dude do
not like
something.
Korobov. Nothing close. He wasn't a world champion. Boot wasn't a world champion in the amateurs.
Look at Jay Rosales. He did duck. Andrade did duck Korobov. How the fuck did he duck Korobov, man? You guys are fucking weirdos, man. Oh, my God.
Oh, wait. He fought that other guy. Andrade fought his last opponent, right? So if that last opponent,
mandatory. Listen, sir, that was a mandatory title defense.
I understand, but I'm saying if that guy was at 160, Andrade would jump at that opportunity to go up. And I'm saying he doesn't want to take the risk
for the money. The risk for the money. Say the right words. Say the right words. The risk for the money. The risk for the money. Yes, I would agree to that. But I'm not saying he's ducking because he made it perfectly clear. If they pay for what the fight is worth, I will fight him right now. anytime they want. He even said they could put it on the fucking. He said they could put me against Kirkland, against Korobov, against Rosado, put it on the undercard of Canelo, and then let me beat their ass, and then I could fight Canelo. He's not scared of nobody. Not in my opinion, I don't think. Not in my opinion.
Okay, so at least we agree that, you know, the risk is not, he doesn't want to take the risk.
He doesn't want to take the risk. No. But you can't stop there. If you're gonna say I agree with you, I agree that he does not want to take the risk for that amount of money. Yeah. He made that clear. He said that.
Okay, so all right, and then I want to go to another point where you guys were talking about the NBC. I'm actually against that whole thing, NBC televising Mayweather Pacquiao, it being open like the Super Bowl. I just think like boxing, it's gonna lose its prestige, and when you're gonna have all these casual fans come in now to the sport like you did with it, I just think it's gonna ruin, you know, the prestige of the sport. I'm against that. I'm for the whole pay-per-view thing. Let's keep the big fights on pay-per-view. Because look, when you move into mainstream, like, you know, All Access is part of it, the cursing and the censorship. When you move into mainstream, things change. The sport, you know, like look at UFC. It wasn't the same as it was before it went into mainstream. You know, rules change, things change. So I say let's keep it still on pay-per-view. Let's keep it selective. I just think, you know, I'm against the whole NBC thing. You know.
Well, all right, brother. Let me get to some other callers because I got to get out of here. But I will say that I disagree with you. I think that casual fans and millions and millions and millions of them, if Tyson Fury, Steve Cunningham could do 4 million, well then, damn, MV2. I mean, Mayweather fucking Pacquiao should do 10 million, right?
15 million.
All right. 760, you're live. Who's this?
Hey, Ness, I'm just listening.
All right, brother. 443, I think this is my man, Baltimore.
It's Baltimore, gentlemen. The gods will not save you.
Hey, Wood.
What's going on, yo?
Hey, Wood, is that really you on Twitter? Because I thought you had another Twitter. Now we got some dude claiming he you. Is that you?
Yeah, that's me. I had to change it because I couldn't get in my old password, but both of them is me, yo.
Okay. Got to make sure ain't nobody impersonating the God, you know?
Yeah, you can look at the pictures. You can tell that both of the pictures are the same person. Yo, this guy, this warrior, man, he gonna blame Al Heyman for everything. If he wake up tomorrow and his motherfucking dick is 2 inches, he gonna say Al Heyman did it, man. He gonna swear Al Heyman has nothing to do with it. Anything, man. Just stay the fuck off Al Heyman, man. People getting tired of listening to this Al Heyman bullshit, man. If anything, his house burned down, he gonna swear Al Heyman torched the shit out of any fucking thing, man. Just stay the fuck off of it. And Ringside Robbie, he said he turned 65. He sound like he's 75 years old, man. He need to get a cough drop or something, man. Ringside Robbie sound like a piece of shit today,
why
man.
you always getting that Ringside Robbie, man?
I'm just telling he cool, man. I tell you, I like Ringside Robbie. I'm just saying he sound like a piece of shit today, man. That's all. Yeah, but y'all missing some good shit, man. I want to ask you, man. I know you know a lot about boxing and shit, right, man? I don't want to disrespect the Goosens and shit, right? But I want you to do a poll and find out did Andre Ward had something to do with this nigga death, man.
Oh man, come on, boy.
I'm saying not like he killed this motherfucker. I'm talking about did he stress this motherfucker out to death, motherfucker?
I
Make this nigga
know.
drink.
I don't know about that, man.
We don't know.
Oh man, I'm just saying, yo, he sued the motherfucker 10 times, man. That's enough to drive a motherfucker 65 years old. And he was good as promoter. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Yeah, Yeah. That's all I'm saying, man. It's just, man. It's too much. It's too much. Chew, man. Chew a good dude, man. I like Chew when he only had like 2 minutes to talk or 3 minutes to talk. So when you get Chew an hour, man, this motherfucker will fuck shit up, man. He'll have your show sound like something on MSNBC or something, man. Or talking about the Taliban or something like that, man. You cannot give too much motherfucking time to talk, man.
Wood, I'm trying to be quick, Wood. I'm trying to be quick, but they won't let me finish.
I know, man. I told you to. You one of my favorite. Robbie too. I like Robbie, man. But I like you and Robbie. That's why I fuck with y'all. If I ain't fuck with y'all, I wouldn't say a goddamn thing about y'all. I'll keep it moving, but talking about some other shit. Y'all, I like y'all. That's why I always talk shit about y'all.
I would.
Why Robbie won't
say
nothing, man?
Let me get to these last two, Wood, because I'm tired, brother. I've been running all night from these 2 fights.
Man, who fault is that, man? This shit, goddamn, whose fault is that, man?
Hey, man, your fault for calling in late.
All right. Now just go ahead.
636, you're live. Who's this? Got to make it quick, man. I'm sorry. Drive by mood.
Hey, this Dino, man. What's up, fool?
What's up, Dino?
Hey, man. Chilling, man. Chilling. Well, man, what you think about I know it wasn't a big fight, but it was the Verdejo fight, man. G, like, he looked at so sharp. I know it was against or whatever, dude, but he looked at sharp. And then what do you think about Jorge Arce and Johnny Gonzalez?
I like the Arce Gonzalez fight. I mean, but you know, Arce is Arce. You know, Gonzalez, we were expecting him to do that. We know he's got power, so I wasn't surprised. And Verdejo, again, same thing. We were expecting him to look good. Probably not as good as he looked. But again, like you said, you know, he isn't really fighting anybody. And like I said, I talked a lot about him earlier in the show. And, you know, I think he's a kid with a lot of potential. I think he's going to be loved and adored the way that Tito was, not like Cotto. I think he's going to be bigger than Cotto. But
it's going to be bigger because you want to know what? He spends time, like my cousin lives in Caguas, Puerto Rico, and says that he spends time, hours upon hours, talking to the youth, and he signs autographs for everyone. So he is going to be special. One last thing I wanted to bring up. What do you think about Rances Bartolome? Now, they asked him a question which was very disrespectful. They said, do you think that everybody think that you're boring? Yes, people on Twitter, because there's so many casual fans that just, you know, they're followers. So they say, oh, well, he was so boring. I thought he did a masterful job. He did as much as he could without having crazy, you know, taking too much of a risk. He threw great combinations. His defense looked very sharp. He looked the same from round 1 to round 12, and he didn't get winded. What more do you want from him? You know, he fought a guy that had 60 fights. What is your take on it?
But you felt he took it seriously? You felt that was the best that he could have performed? Is that what you interpreted from that fight?
So, I mean, for the level of opposition, you got to understand, some people don't get up for a guy that's not doing anything.
We don't give people that excuse on this show. This is a real fight fan show. Like, we don't give a fuck who you fight, and this is your job. Do it. And I feel
you, but I mean, if the guy's not playing, it's just like with Mayweather and Madonna. I mean, Mayweather figured him out in the second fight. So I mean, besides Kenny Bayless holding him, we kind of already knew that Mayweather's gonna slip and slide. You need somebody that can match his style. You know, styles make fights. You feel me? So,
and that's what Rancy said.
Was awkward. It was just
that's what Rancy
he didn't
said.
Throw nothing.
Rancy said that the styles do make fights, but my thing is, I seen him playing. Like, he was playing. He was
playing a little bit. Yeah, you're right. He was playing a little bit. I saw it a little.
Well, brother, let me get to some other callers, man. We on drive-by mode, brother. So I'm going to get to some other callers. I'm sorry, man. You're calling in a little late. We started a little late. We had a long weekend, but, you know, that's what the YouTube channel is for. We did a lot of work, so we hope you guys go and check it out. 613, you're live. Who's this? 613. 613.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just say I'm Paul from Minnesota. I don't want to say my name, but I heard a bit at the beginning. You guys were recapping the weekend, and I just heard the last maybe 20 minutes. I'll say for Vanez, I think it'd be good for him to first of all, I'll say long-time listener, first-time caller. So I like your guys' show. But I'd say, yeah, Vanez fighting Lara in the rematch would be good for him. I know you brought up Trout, but I think Vanez would probably be looking for bigger fights than Trout.
Well, he's the one that called out Trout.
90 seconds.
And maybe Trout is the right option simply because it's another southpaw, so he'll get some looks at him first. And like I said, they both need each other at this point. I don't think you lose to Canelo and you should be fighting Vanez. Like, did Lara drop that far?
Yeah, I don't know. As far as Canelo, though, I think he has the next 2 fights lined up already, so it's going to be a while for Vanez, a Lara,
60 seconds.
or an Andrade to get the Canelo shot, because Canelo wants Cotto in May, most likely. And then I'll keep it short because I'm sure other people want to talk. And as far as I don't know, that guy from Scotland. Well, first of all, I'll say I think it's been a pretty good year for boxing. I'm just thinking of fights that were good. For me, I like the Pacquiao Bradley 2 was a good fight. People were talking a lot about Kirkland Tapia. And Arikara Linares, that was a good fight on the undercard of Mayweather's first fight with Maidana. And then for the rest of the year, there's Bellew Cleverly 2. That's going to be a war.
10 seconds.
Fury Chisora 2, I think would be a pretty good fight. So I don't know what you make of that, but anyways, yeah, I'm just calling in. Like I said, long-time listener, first-time caller. So you guys have a good show, and it's good that you take in calls. So.
Well, thank you, brother. I would have played the intro for you, but you said you didn't want to say your name. But we do appreciate you being a listener and now a caller, man. We hope you call back in. And you know, I agree with you. There were a ton of good fights, and you know, look, some of those that you're looking forward to, I'm not, and you still think they're good, and that's the beauty. We all have different opinions, except that you know, not MV2 clearly 240.
What's up? This is the Gringo. I know we're on quick time tonight, but yeah, I thought that card last night was shit. The Vanez fight should have been the headliner to me. Dorlorme looked okay, but he didn't look his best. And just in case I can't call in Tuesday, I'm gonna let you know right now. I got Jermaine Taylor on a unanimous decision over Sam Solomon. I just think, you know, I think Jermaine still got it a little bit. I mean, he might not be still in his prime, but he's still, you know, I still think he can win. And one last thing, to quote the famous Scottish warrior, I fucking love boxing. Bicycle.
All right, brother. 619, you're live. Who's this?
Hello?
Yeah, 619.
Yeah, this is a first-time caller.
All right, brother. Hold on a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, making his professional debut.
Yeah, I'm DK from San Diego.
Oh, and, San Diego.
Yeah, I was just calling. You know, that card last night. Yeah, it was wasn't a very good card. It's pretty boring. But I did watch the Arce and Johnny Gonzalez fight. That was a pretty good fight. As far as like Willie Nelson, man, he disappointed me. I thought he was a lot better than that, and he just, you know, he didn't fight with no fire or anything. And I mean, the rest of the card the same way. Like Barthélemy should have waxed that dude last night. I don't know what his problem was. He's you know, it's like these guys don't have like a killer instinct no more, you know. And I'll give my prediction for that Wednesday card. You know, I got Solomon winning, you know, decision over Taylor. I just think Taylor's done. And he's got too much distractions. You know, he's got, like attempted murder on his plate right now. I don't think his mind's on that fight. So that's all I got.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for calling in. We're definitely going to go ahead and at least try and preview the weekend and let you know what is coming up. Juan Manuel Marquez isn't going to be fighting for the rest of this year. He's he had options to fight Bradley rematches and Pacquiao rematches, but he decided to take the rest of the year off. And on a good note for Golden Boy, Frankie Gomez, the pit bull, he re-signs his contract with Golden Boy. So, shout out to Oscar. Didn't lose Frankie the pit bull. That's a kid with a little bit of upside. He's always he trains with Freddie Roach. Remember, if you're looking at this on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe, man. It's going to help us get to where we need to go. Remember, man, with all your views and shares is how we get the level of access that we get to these fights. The more popular, the more access we get. As you see, yesterday we had 3 credentials, me, Sev, and Beeb. So the more work, the more people. Well, the more people, the more work, and all that. It comes from you and your shares and your likes. Wednesday night, October 8th, ESPN2. Set your DVRs from Biloxi, Michigan, Minnesota, I believe. Sam Solomon versus Jermaine Taylor. I'm like the caller. I don't know if Taylor or Solomon is gonna win. I'm just going Solomon because, like you guys think I'm a fanboy, I'm kind of afraid what's gonna happen if this belt falls in Taylor's hands. We'll probably get a bunch of delayed purse bids, and I'd rather that not happen. I'd rather Ndam get a shot right away, hopefully this year, or early next year, sign something. Andre Durrell versus Nick Brinson is on the undercard. Durrell should win this, but Brinson's a tough kid, but he's not on the level of Andre Durrell, that's for sure. But we've seen Brinson bite down and be tough. Mario Barrio versus Abraham Rubio. Never heard of these guys. 4-round featherweight belt. On Fox Sports on Friday, we're going to have Ronnie Rios. I'm going to watch that, definitely. I like Ronnie Rios. I believe this is the guy that fought Borgare too. I wasn't too happy with that fight, I believe. Antonio Roscoe is also going to be on this card. He's stepping up. He's going to be fighting Stevie Forbes. Diego De La Hoya, this hot prospect, he's on the rise. Last name is definitely helping him, but he's also looking good. He's going to be in a 6th round. And on Telemundo, we're going to have David Carmona versus Martin Castilleras, junior bantamweight fight. October 11th, that's Saturday on beIN Sports in Espanol. We're going to have Jorge Paz Jr. versus Aaron Herrera and Miguel Berchelt versus Antonio Escalante. So that's a fight you should definitely watch, the Antonio Escalante fight. Untelevised, Carlos Molina, the IBF champion in the junior middleweight division, is going to be taking on his mandatory title defense versus Cornelius K9 Bundridge in Mexico, Cancun, Mexico. We didn't do the chat room roll call before the live portion. Let me see if the guys stuck around in the chat and at least shot them out. Oh, I think they are there, right? Maybe. If they are, we're going to go with Ari Gold, Dave the Sinister, I Love Women. We're not going to say his real fucking handle. Jay Munzone, Cam UK, Letting Gifted Hands Go, Marcus R, Mr. Jordan, MV Chu, I don't know what the hell that is. Who else? That's it. Well, guys, man, thanks for tuning in. As always, man, drop us a 5-star review if you can. Like, comment, subscribe. If you can find it in your heart to donate, do that by going to theboxingvoice.com and clicking on the donate button. Remember, your donations help us continue to bring you this coverage and keep this show as free as possible. We thank you, and we'll see you probably, I don't know. I don't really know if we should do a preview show for Jermaine Taylor versus Sam Solomon. If that is something that you desire, I ask you to email us at the Boxing Voice email, which is THEBOXYNGVOICE@yahoo.com. See you guys later.
Thank you for using